see him again, you may rejoice, and that I may be the less sorrowful. Receive him, therefore, in the Lord with all gladness, and hold such in reputation, because of the work of Christ he was nigh unto death, not regarding his life, to supply your lack of service toward me. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. God bless, sister.
Well, that was an accident. What is going on? What's the deal?
What's the deal? What's up?
Oh, man. Man, it's storming bad here last night, boy. There's stuff all over the place outside. Let's see. Gold, might as well do one. Might as well. We just need one. Let's see. Oh man, that's weird. Let's not do that. Okay, if it says it's on, then what's the issue? What's up, man? Why y'all being so quiet? Y'all have a good weekend or what?
Great weekend.
Some of you came over here to cry. We don't do that here. You can go cry at the house. Let's see.
It was a terrible weekend.
Do what?
I said it was a terrible weekend.
It was horrible. Life is horrible. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It definitely doesn't have to be.
That Indy 500 was this weekend.
I used to watch it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Is trying to transition to the crying ministry.
Do what? Huh?
That he was trying to transfer to the crying ministry.
Anybody catch that?
He said, are you trying to transfer to the crying ministry?
I don't think he ran that one by anyone.
What?
He surely did not.
Somebody tell him, because if I keep telling him, he's not going to get it.
Christian, do me a favor. Just DM me every time you're about to say some interesting statements, and I'll give you a thumbs up.
I think he thinks we're lying. I think that's what it is. Christian, you think we're lying? Is that what it is? Somebody's got to get the freaking joke, Christian. That's all we're saying. Somebody's got to get it. Explain yourself, sir. Hello.
Said I will
He's
not.
so mad. He's so mad right now.
What about that?
He's like every time, man. Every time. It's like, just explain yourself. I'm not saying, look, Matter of fact, 90% of the time when this happens, we say explain yourself, and when he explains it, we're like, okay, yeah, that's actually funny. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's what's the flip? What's up, bruh?
Delivery.
Yeah, the delivery. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hulk is here too. Been a while.
Hulk is here. Where?
On the panel.
Oh,
On the panel
oh,
all
I
the
can't tell
time.
it's him because I don't see green.
Right.
Oh, it's the other picture with his red shirt. Okay, my bad. All right, well, that's my fault.
He's called
The Flippinator. Bro, Flip been gone. Dang, you been gone long enough to have 4 kids. You got more? You got 4 kids or what? We got a whole gremlin family.
Right.
All righty. Baba Girl, what'd you say? Baba Girl, we take this day to remember those who sacrificed their lives for this country. Thank you to all those who have passed. Also, those who have served and currently serving. And thank you for people like Trot that left and never came back. Partially nuts, but at the same time adorable. Thank you, Baba Girl. Appreciate that. I didn't add none of that, by the way. I didn't add not one part. It's all her. She said all that.
Dang.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and if you didn't know, that was on YouTube. That's a little YouTube action. Yeah, it's supposed to. The storm's supposed to kick back on in a few hours. I'm hoping it because it's got like 2 or 3. You know how like storms are. You know, you just really can't predict exactly. You know, they're unpredictable. You really don't know. You just kind of have a good idea. Well, I got like, so I look at the radar. I got the regular app that comes on a phone. And I got this other one, and they're all telling a different story. You know, one is saying it's not going to happen till 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. Another one is saying like any second now. That's the one I keep looking at. I think that one probably gets more views because it lies and it's like right now, and it's like, wait a minute, but it's not even a cloud out here. But it'll tell you right now. It won't happen for hours later. And then the other one is the one that's like it kind of shows you, like it's the radar. You know, it shows you everything, like what storm is going to be here in 2 days, 2 weeks. The heck is that? Oh, that was cool. Ha! Who sent that thing?
Jennifer.
I did.
How come?
Jennifer.
Why doesn't it say? Oh, there it is. Oh, it popped up. It popped up late. It popped up late. That's all. Popular vote? Somebody help me out with that. What is that? What is that arrow that I keep seeing popping up? Somebody? Anybody?
That's part of in the gifts Trot.
Oh, it's a gift.
Push out the algorithm.
Hey.
Yeah, but that's another one of them to help push out the algorithm.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Big, I don't know if you're at work or not. Hey, get back with me about one of those billboards, bro. Like, I want to get one of those going. Like, let me know. Try to find out how much it is and let me know, man. Get with me. Like, we need to get one of those up there, like ASAP. And we'll discuss further. Saba reached member 30. What is that? Oh, the gift member thing. Let's see. I'm having a mega sale right now. No time yet. A mega sale? What? Oh, you're selling cars. We need to get somebody else on that then, bro. I need you to delegate that to somebody. Who else got a few brain cells still bouncing around in that noggin? Flip, why'd you say Trot still drinks coffee? Absolutely. What? Matter of fact, when I was born, they had to poke my what was that noise? think the dog's just out there messing around. Anyway, can y'all hear him barking? Did y'all hear him?
Oh yeah.
Y'all did?
Oh yeah.
No, I said when I was born, the doc had to puncture one of my aorta. He said, I don't know, something's wrong with his red blood cells. And he's like, oh, you got a lot of caffeine. I came out telling my mom, hey, Mom, I don't appreciate that caffeine addiction. I always tell my mom it's her fault. But thank God, it's just caffeine. Oh, Big Nick coming in with the save. Man.
Bless you.
Thank you. Lord have mercy. I wonder how the people do it, like popular people, like when they're having a podcast. Like, if you ever noticed, I don't recall any of them coughing or sneezing. I'm like, man, y'all must have just started on a good day.
We have dehumidifiers, humidifiers, and the floors and the ceilings.
Would you say they got humidifiers?
Yeah, they probably got dehumidifiers and humidifiers in the floors and the ceilings.
They got what in the ceiling?
Humidifiers in the ceilings.
Oh, in the ceilings?
Humidifiers in the floors.
What do you think that's going to do? Like, kind of make the temperature perfect or something?
I don't know. I'm just messing around.
Oh, I don't know.
Make it so your throat isn't as itchy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not like, yeah, I get what you're saying. You know what? Probably. Matter of fact, you might be right. Jordan said they got descalers and derailers.
Exactly.
That's how they stay on top of it. They got descalers and derailers and oh, that's funny. That's too funny. Let's see. What? Lit up the gift gallery. I don't know why it's telling me to light up. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that means. I'm a derailer. Flip's definitely.
Yeah, we know that.
Definitely a derailer. Well, I'll tell you, he reads the comments, boy. If the comments say something good about descaled, you don't never hear him reading them. But as soon as somebody comes there and goes, "You're a false prophet," boy, Flip's the first one. Hey, try it. Somebody's saying you're a false prophet. It's like, God dang, Flip, what about the other 1,000 comments? I don't know. Those comments they're cheesy. They're cheesy comments. He's like, I want to read the good comments. It's what's the word? He wants to read the you say that word
Contentions.
Well, no, that's the right word, but the way you I can't think of the word, but basically he's like, I want to look for the drama. So I want to look for the drama comments, the soap opera era comments. That's how I roll. It's all good, Flip. We're used to it. We ain't tripping. We ain't doing no tripping. Well, my weekend's been amazing. I hope everybody else has been great. I know Saba went live. And, oh, no, she didn't just go live. She, had her camera open. For a minute there, I thought she made a mistake. I was about to say, hey, your camera's open, because I could see the descaled emblem in the back. And then, the stuff she was saying was pretty much, answering my question, that she's got it open on purpose. And I was like, well, all right. She opened that bad boy. Saba, you start your new job yet, or what? There's a stick called a boom boom stick. Well, I appreciate that, but my problem's not allergies. It's just something else. But hey, you never know. The boom boom stick may work too. There used to be this, no, brother, having a final talk with them. Okay, cool. Now, there's this this movie. I don't remember what it's called. I haven't seen it in a long time. But this guy, he cuts off his hand and puts a chainsaw on it. Anybody ever seen that?
I don't think so.
No. Anybody else?
No, not with you.
Nobody?
Talking
Yeah,
about
this one.
you said a movie that does what?
There's a dude. I don't remember everything about it, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. But there's this dude. He's in this house, and he said, to me, it's kind of like a comedy. It's weird. I don't know if the person that made this was trying to be scary. I'm not really sure, but he said something got into my house. He said, and then it got into my hand. And the hand is trying to kick his butt. So he takes a chainsaw and he cuts his hand off. But he puts his hand inside of this chainsaw. Now his hand is a chainsaw. Nobody's seen that movie? It's a weird movie. It's old too. No?
Being weird and old, that's probably why no one's seen it.
Yeah. That's probably. Let's see. Chainsaw Massacre. No. Chainsaw No, man. Y'all gonna make me look it up.
I'll try it a little bit off topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you had a good weekend because I got a voicemail from Trot on Saturday where he's arguing about China and $200.
Okay, say it again. You got a voicemail that said what?
I got a voicemail from you talking to somebody about $200 and a bunch of things about China on Saturday. Not sure what that was about.
Oh, well, if it was about China and $200, then it was probably about China and $200 regarding, let me see, what could I be talking about? China and $200.
It was on Saturday. Who was at your house on Saturday? You know what? That's China. I've heard Trump say China less.
I don't know what that was about. Not really sure, but I'm sure it has something to do with probably some video that I saw.
Let's do it again.
Do what?
I said I'll have to go back and listen to it again. See if
I'm sure it was me talking about either a YouTube or the news or TikTok. Maybe had to be maybe a video I was watching, probably. Sando, Trot, Ash versus the Evil Dead. Oh, that sounds right, bro. Evil Dead, that sounds right. That's it. That's it right there. That's got to be it. Yeah, Ash. No. That's the dude's name, Ash. Oh, man. That's the name of that silly movie. Man, it's been 15 minutes. I can't even remember why I brought that dumb movie up, to be honest with you.
He cut off his hand.
Huh? Yeah, but what were we talking about? I don't remember what we were talking about. Y'all just kill it. Y'all kill it every time, man. Golly, I'm trying to tell you something.
Something Christian brought up.
Let's see. You said man with the chainsaw. No, I know, but I'm trying to remember why the heck I brought that up. I don't know. It don't matter.
Christian started talking.
Because Christian started talking? Christian started talking, so I brought up, hey, there's this movie. Guy with a chainsaw for a hand.
No, bro. The chainsaw had nothing to do with me talking first.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you sure, bro?
That was your own random thing.
You can't prove that.
I'm sure.
Evil Dead, bro. Evil Dead.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Evil Dead. Man, that movie's so dumb. I'm trying to remember why the heck I brought that up. That movie's so dumb, though, man. It's so goofy. All right, either way. Let's see. God bless. Giving grace. What's up? Appreciate y'all being on. Guys, for real, come on. I've noticed that everybody is... listen, I know it's not easy, man. Look, it ain't easy being cheesy. I get it. But I need everybody to go to YouTube and be on there. Y'all need to be on there for a few minutes. Stay on there. Now, I will say this. Hey, matter of fact, hey, in TikTok, guys, if throughout the week, if you at least listen, okay, if you don't do it at least once a week, then don't do it. Do not put a 1. But if you go back at least once, I don't care if it's one live, if you at least do it once a week, which is go find a live and listen to at least 30 minutes of it, put a 1 if you do that. If at least once a week you go to YouTube to @DScaled find a video and listen to it for at least 30 minutes. If you do that at least once a week, please put a 1. Flip. Here, you need to put a -25 flip on yours. Sando put 20. All right, so that so far is like 5, 6. So if we get at least 10, that's 6. Okay, that's 7, 8. Because I'm counting YouTube also. So it's about 10 people, which means it's probably 25%. Yeah, so about 25% of the people do that. I'm telling you, guys, that those views, and I'm telling you, it ain't. Let me say this: we only have about 100 to 150 people that come in here. Maybe not every day, but they come to Descaled pretty often. Matter of fact, I counted up to like 180 at one point, but I know it's around 150 of the same people that come. Sometimes they're just obviously not all here at the same time, but there's people that do not come to TikTok. I was looking because they're called like it's not TikTok calls them unique, but YouTube calls them something else. But when you get like someone that doesn't often, they don't come to the live often, or they become a new subscriber to YouTube. So there's a lot of people that actually watch the recordings on YouTube. I didn't realize how many people actually did that until I was really paying attention to how many views that we have on the YouTube. Guys, 150 people is not enough to get all those views that we have in the short time that we've gotten them. So there's a lot of people. I was just throwing that out there. But I need people like right now. Not right, but right. Need y'all to go to YouTube and stay there for a little bit. Make some comments. Make sure you give a thumbs up. And all that good news.
3 devices, or 2 devices anyway.
Do what? Yeah, if you got 2 devices, that'd be great. I know that's not an easy thing to ask, but
They are Timmy Tenders.
I just discovered that in Islam, they believe that Allah is going to raise up a beast, right? He's
Yeah.
gonna raise up a beast, and the beast is going to mark their believers.
Well, that's what the Bible says. Hey, that's what the Bible says.
Oh my goodness! So their Allah raises up this beast to but it's for a good thing.
Oh, Allah! Oh, my bad. I missed that. Allah does this.
Yeah, so Allah raises up the beast to mark the believers, like the true Muslim, to mark them. I'm like, I don't want that. So you guys are setting people up to get a mark, whether it's the carnal mind or whatever. Like if you just read the Peshat of the scripture, they're basically going against like the basic understanding of Christianity, which is like that a beast, you don't want to receive the mark of the beast, but according to them, you want the mark of the beast because it makes you white as snow.
Stop. Hold on, bro.
I'm serious.
Hold on. It says that Allah is going to raise up a beast, and that beast is going to mark believers.
Yes, the true believers, and he's going to mark them as white.
Okay, but what is this beast? What are they saying this beast is? What is that?
Bro, it's the beast that separates, because what they're saying is in the end times when the world gets so corrupted, right?
Yeah.
That Allah is going to raise up this beast to mark the believers with whiteness and the unbelievers with blackness.
See? They're going to get the mark of the beast.
Yep, 100%.
That's what they're going to get. They're going to get the mark of the beast for real. What they're going to get.
And their beast, look, it says its head is like the head of a bull, its eyes are like the eyes of a pig, Its ears are like the ears of an elephant.
Hold on a second. Hold on. It has a sight of the swine, bro.
Yes, bro. That's what it says.
Wow, bro. Got the sight of the swine.
I'm not joking.
All right. Hey, hold on. It's got. Hold on. Start all over. When you were describing, what's the first thing you described? It's got what?
All right. I'm gonna read the whole thing through. All right.
Okay. All right. Read it through, and then we'll go through it one at a time.
Right. All right. So it says its head is like the head of a bull. Its eyes are like the eyes of a pig. Its ears are like the ears of an elephant. Its horns are like the horns of a stag. Its neck is like the neck of an ostrich. Its chest is like the chest of a lion. Its color is the color of a tiger. It hunches like the hunches of a cat, and its tail is like the tail of a ram, and its legs are like the legs of a camel. Bro, it has big ears to hear everything, so it believes everything. It has the eyes of swine, so it sees everything like a pig.
Bro.
Its neck is like the neck of an ostrich, so it's probably stiff-necked.
Yep. Stiff-necked. Can't turn. That dick don't turn. Hey, that dick don't turn. That thing got to turn all the way around.
It digs his head. The ostriches put their head in the
sand. No, in the sand, bro.
Yeah.
In the dry ground.
The dry ground. The desolate ground,
It's
bro.
crazy.
Bro, that's the craziest thing. And would you say the legs are like a camel?
Yeah, camel legs.
So the camel is something you're not supposed to eat from, but it's got the feet swift like a camel, so it don't bring good news. That's crazy.
No, this thing is.
It don't see good news. It don't.
It says the beast will rise up, right? And it says a beast will emerge from the earth, and it will be the staff of Musa. So the staff of Moses, and with the ring of Suleiman, which is Solomon, peace be upon them both. It will strike the nose of the disbelievers with the staff, but it will make the face of the believer bright with the ring until when people eat, and it will be able to recognize believers from disbelievers. This is recorded in whatever, and it will strike the nose of the disbelievers. So it's going to break the nose of the disbelievers, but it's going to give the mark of brightness and light.
All right, so the beast is going to be like the staff of Moses. That's what it's saying?
No, it's going to use the staff of Moses to strike people.
Oh, okay. Notice it says, It didn't say the iron staff or the iron rod. It's Moses' staff.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
And the ring of Solomon.
And the ring of Solomon. Not the ring of Christ or the ring of wisdom, the ring of Solomon. Bro, they are stuck. They're stuck.
Oh, it's stuck bad, bro.
They're stuck in that Old Testament. They're stuck in there. Those things are supposed to show in the future. Those things are no more that way. They're still stuck. They're really stuck back there. Lord of the Rings. That ain't no lie. Lord of the Rings, bro, for real.
Oh, I learned this and I was like, wow. So you guys are literally teaching that the mark of the beast is a good thing. Regardless of how people may interpret the Bible and not understand it, regardless of how that way may be, the fact of the matter is Islam is plainly telling you that the mark of the beast is a good thing. That's a problem, bro.
That's what it sounds
no matter
like.
how you look at it.
That's what it sounds like, because you're getting the mark from a beast, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's wild. Yeah. Jesus is described as a beast, as the behemoth, but it's God himself that's describing. It's God. He describes these two animals. I was speaking to someone the other day, and I was telling them that, and they're like, hey, I got to call you back. I was like, all right. So they called back. He's like, bro, are you sure? I'm like, bro, I said, if you read this over and over, I said, all you got to do is go to where God is speaking and just keep reading what he says. When you finally get to the behemoth and the Leviathan, if you tell me after you read this at least 30 times, at least, that you don't see what I'm saying, bro, that I don't believe you read it 30 times. And so, he calls back. He's like, man, excuse me. God. Anyway, I know he read it again because he calls me back like an hour later or hour and a half, and even right now he's like, man, I don't know. I was like, bro, we've been going over this for 30 minutes. I was like, call me in a week. I said, you're trying to call me every 5 minutes, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Like, so even if they were to try to play that game, well, the Bible, the beast, and this and that, yeah, bro. But when the Bible talks about us receiving a mark, it comes from a man wearing white linen. In Ezekiel, bro. It's not just no longer describing a beast. It's no shadow anymore. It points to a man. And there's only one man, bro, that prevails in a way to put a mark. So that's where do you get all this stuff at, bro? Bro, how much writing do these people have?
They're like the Catholics, bro. They have a lot of nonsense.
Really?
You start going through some of their sources, and you'll just be like, "Wow, it's crazy." Yeah, they have a lot. They have a lot. So,
sounds like it.
Yeah, there's a hadith that says it the same way. Like there's a lot of proof in this. It's kind of nuts. So it'll say like in the tafsir, which is like their church fathers, it says this is a beast which will emerge at the end time, and mankind, when mankind has become corrupt and neglected the commands of Allah, changing the true religion, then Allah will cause the beast to emerge from the earth, and it was said that it will be brought from Makkah, from elsewhere, or from Mecca. Sorry, from Mecca. The way they spelled it is weird. From Mecca or from elsewhere, and it shall discuss the details below if Allah wills. The beast will speak to people about matters, and it says Ali, may peace and blessings be upon him, said that many hadiths report that the who speak Allah, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of nonsense. They're not saying nothing. So there's like 10 signs that have to happen. But yeah, so Allah's raising this beast up, bro, in the end times. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, Dre, when's the Texas trip, man?
I don't know. I actually got to jump on that this
I was
week.
going to text you this weekend, but I was like, nah, there ain't no, for what? Like, we got plenty of time. It ain't like we just need to find out when it's cheapest for everybody, like whenever that is. So Big, if you're...
I did look it up, and it was really cheap. The one weekend I looked, I was like, yo, I'm gonna look at this weekend. It was dirt cheap, but that's literally as I was looking it up, Ryan texted me and was like, oh, any weekend but this weekend. And I was like, God dog it, that's the literally weekend that's the cheapest.
Happens to be the cheapest weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, but
yeah.
I have to look at another weekend and see.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Oh,
hey,
what?
I read the description of this demon thing, this beast. I read the description of it. I read a description of it on ChatGPT. Look what it came up with.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. What do you mean? Okay, before you read it, what did you do? You did what?
I put the description of this beast into ChatGPT
to
make an image out of it.
All right. What? Oh, it created an image.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, let me put you on a big screen. Hold up.
Oh my goodness, what is that?
That's the Islamic beast that Allah raises up to mark believers.
Lord have mercy.
Look at that bad boy.
See, it has the stripes of a tiger, the legs of a camel, the tail of a ram, the face of a bull, the ears of an elephant, the horns of a ram. That's it right there. So if you guys have seen what this,
hey, it's supposed to have a neck like a giraffe, so that the neck should be a little longer.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's what it came up with.
I know.
It's a little bit longer than a normal animal right there, though.
Oh yeah. No, that is longer. Probably twice as long, actually. It's kind of like a horse. Look kind of like a horse. It don't matter. I think ChatGPT did great on this first try. I think it did great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, John's actually right, bro. Those are deer antlers. Those are not ram. That's not a ram.
Those are deer antlers.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It would
Dre,
be
you're
awesome.
telling me that, though.
Go ahead, Christian. What?
You're saying if it has a pig's eyes, they're not even allowed to eat pork. So why would a good thing come with pig's eyes to them?
Well, what is a stag, Trot? What is a stag?
A stag?
A stag is a deer.
Yeah,
Stag
well,
is
that's what it
an
says. It says it has horns of a stag. So
I thought you said ram.
ram.
I thought you said ram.
I thought.
My bad.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, those are
The
stag
one thing
horns.
it could do, it just needs to make a skinnier neck, a skinnier, longer neck, then it'll
Yeah.
be more accurate.
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah. Let me see. What else was I going to say? Thinking. Oh, something about Rhonda. I think it was Rhonda. If it wasn't Rhonda, my bad. But I think it was Rhonda. Somebody sent me a video saying that Target, your local Target, and it may not be at your local one, but Target is selling Elon's internet system for half off right now. StarNet or whatever it's called. That was kind of like, if it was Rhonda, that was Rhonda saying, say, bruh, I'm not going to be coming much longer. You get your internet fixed. It's like, hey, I enjoy coming, but just to be honest with you, you have to work on that internet, man.
Hey, so
Starlink, thank you, Starlink. What? Go ahead. What?
I said, speaking of that, Donald Trump this weekend delayed the tariffs on the European Union. So he's supposed to be imposing 50% tariffs, but he said he's going to postpone it until July 9th after a very nice call. He had a very nice call.
Very nice call. I like that.
Yeah. So after the very nice call, he decided to postpone said tariffs. So that's cool, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Hey, did you hear Walmart saying something about because of all the tariffs, they're going to have to charge more money?
I have heard that. Because apparently the tariffs, what they're saying is that, which this is the part I don't understand. So what people are saying is that the tariff will end up being paid by the consumer versus the provider of like the goods or whatever. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what they say. Now I would believe that because they still want to sell their product, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what's happened when that comment came out. Less than a week, bro. So when that comment came out that Walmart, I'm sorry, not comment, when Walmart announced that they were going to make their things more expensive, I don't know what the percentage is, but it has to be around 10 or higher. 10% of the people that sent their products to Walmart, like to put on their shelves, they took their products off. So now there are big empty spots in Walmart, bro, and my Walmart. Huge. Like, we're talking 30 feet by 30 feet sections just empty. There's nothing there. There's a few of them in there.
Yeah, because if you're not manufacturing inside of the United States, then it's not worth importing or importing into the United States. So what Trump is trying to do, for those that don't understand, he wants people to manufacture in the United States so that the workers of America can actually have more jobs. That's the whole purpose of the tariff.
but if someone doesn't understand that, then all they see is like this negative thing. They're not seeing the entire picture. So right now there's a lot of stuff being taken off the shelves, but that's because those countries are not sending it anymore. And that's because Trump is telling them, if we're going to sell your product, you're going to pay more money than you have been, because they've been graping America 100%. It's been happening for
By
years.
the way, it's the other way around too. Like, people need to understand, we pay major tariffs to bring products into European countries. People don't realize that.
They don't.
You try to sell something in China from America, as a matter of fact, my daughter just came back from Germany. And she was like, Dad, all the cars here are Mercedes, BMW, like everything that we like over there. Like these are regular taxis over here. I said, yeah. I said, ask the local person. She was on live with me, or not on live, but on FaceTime. I said, ask the local person to say, hey, how many Ford trucks do you have out here? And she asked her. He's like, no, we don't have Ford trucks. I said, ask her. I bet you tell them that Ford trucks are like luxury. They're very expensive. Ask her, watch. And she asked her, and she was like, yeah, no. If you have a Ford truck, you're rich out here because it is so expensive to bring a Ford truck to Europe because of the tariffs. They tariff the heck out of us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if somebody owns a Ford truck over there, it's because they're rich. Because we can't have, you don't see Ford over there.
Right, and let me say that's the sad thing, because right now I'm talking about today, bro. If you go buy you an F-250 brand new, it's gonna run you $100,000. If you have a brand new Chevy or Ford pickup right now, and it's like an F-250 or it's a quarter ton. It's going to be about $100,000, and that's an American-made car. There's no reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason we should be paying that. Let me tell you, and I understand since 1990 things have went up, but that truck right now shouldn't cost more than $50,000, maybe $60,000 for that truck. If you want to push $70,000, fine. But what I'm telling you is that's about how much that truck should be, and it's $30,000 more than it should be, bro. It's almost 50% more expensive than it's supposed to be. That's where we're at right now. Growing up, everybody had Chevy and Ford pickups. Everybody. And now everybody's got Toyota. All the people that would never want to buy a foreign truck, we have to now, because those are the ones $40,000. So how are the Asian trucks more cheaper in America? Because we didn't put tariffs on them. They were able just to bring their, now all the Americans are giving their money to Asians. How's that make any sense? I don't see how anyone thinks that Trump noticed this and he said, this is not making no sense. This makes none. Why are we giving all of our money to other countries? But then if we want to take a Ford or a Chevy to someone else, they tariff the heck out of us. And Trump's like, I tell you what, I'm jacking up all the tariffs. So all these countries are getting mad. And basically what happened, one at a time, they're coming to Trump and saying, okay. We'll meet you where your tariff is. Whatever you do, we'll do. That's all Trump wanted. Fairness and tariffs. That's all he wanted. And so far, 80% of the people already agreed to do it. So,
and I'll tell you, as of right now, the prices have actually gone down from what I just saw. I'm just looking it up right now. But I looked up 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, a F-150 full-size truck could run you anywhere between $34,000 to $60,000. Above $60,000, depending on what it is. And a Toyota Tundra, which is a full-size truck, will run you $35,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
so
let me see.
Models shouldn't be equal. The base model of a foreign car and the base model of a domestically made vehicle should not be the same price.
No.
The domestic vehicle should be way cheaper.
Yeah, it should. Brian said, honestly, Toyota is leaps and bounds better vehicle than anything that's made. Yeah, and I'll say part of that is because their electrical system's not breaking down every 6 months. What I'm starting to learn, I'm talking about vehicles that are like 2020 or newer. And it could be, the problem could have been here before that. But I know a lot of my people that I know around here, if they have a vehicle, whether it's GMC, Chevy, or Ford, if it's a 2020 model at least or newer, every 6 months it's having some kind of electrical issue. So,
yeah, Jeep is like that, bro. I had a Jeep Cherokee, and when I was in the Marine Corps, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, great car, but the freaking windows would stop working like every 3 months, bro. It's so annoying.
That's weird.
The windows, the this, the that.
I've had a couple of Jeeps, man. I never had that problem. I don't know. Maybe it's I had Wranglers, so.
No, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, not the Wrangler, the Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Yeah,
and it was like electrical issues nonstop in that car, bro. I said never again.
Yeah,
bro.
That's not good.
Sucks.
Yeah, that's not good. Let me see.
Hey,
yeah.
So in other news, the U.S., the United States won the gold medal in the International Hockey League. So they won gold. Yeah. So that's great news
That is good
internationally for us. Yeah.
Who was and that's you talking about Olympics?
No, it's not the Olympics. It's the IIHF. So it's like the International Ice Hockey
That's
Federation.
right. That's right. Yeah. My bad.
So they won. It was hosted by Sweden and Denmark, and it marks the first time since 1960 that the U.S. has secured the top spot in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yep. For those of you guys that didn't know, Donald Trump is doing an initiative with Veterans Affairs in Los Angeles. President Trump has ordered the development of housing for 6,000 homeless veterans in LA, which is much needed. I was just there this past weekend, and I'm telling you, the homelessness in LA, specifically the vets, is bad. Like Skid Row is bad. So 6,000 homes for homeless veterans will be a blessing, and I think it'll clean up that city very well, by the way.
Wow.
That's going to be very, very good.
Yeah, because it's not just
the president actually cares about the vets.
Yeah. So it's not just about taking the homeless off the streets. It's about at least first trying to recognize, basically, and I hate to put it this way, but it has to be said, as far as this country goes, right? If you put in the work to somehow help this country, what Trump is saying is there should be some kind of help given back to you because of that. So there are people who are homeless. They didn't serve the country. They didn't do any of these things. And I did hear somebody make a comment, well, he needs to be helping all the homeless. We got to start somewhere. And the world that we live in, nobody would tell me that they don't understand the principle of if you want a paycheck, you go to work. It's crazy to me how people are trying to make this, people are trying to sell the idea as though they don't believe they have to go to work to make money. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I understand if you're sick but
look at Flip.
Flipping here. He flipping. I served in prison. Well, then maybe you need to go live in prison, right? Go live in prison. You can serve prison.
He was making calendars for the federal government. You know the calendars for the federal employees, they're made by the prisoners? It literally says it at the bottom. The creator.
Yeah, Texas, our license plates are made by them.
Yeah,
in Texas.
A lot of the stuff,
Yeah, but Flip, the difference is just like veterans deserve a house, right? Something like that. Felons deserve a house too, but you have to understand the house would be in prison.
The big house.
The big house. The big White House. The biggest White House we have. We make furniture.
He added himself in the mix. He's like, we make furniture.
What do you mean? In prison in Oklahoma?
Alcatraz.
Yeah.
They make furniture.
They're followers of Christ. They're carpenters like Jesus.
Oh my God! Hold on a second, Benny. Prisoners in Oklahoma make furniture for who? Who are y'all making? Who are they making furniture for?
Probably federal employees, like they make the calendars too.
Man, that's crazy. Hey, do they get paid? Hey, you guys in Oklahoma, if there's people in prison in Oklahoma, do they get paid to work? For the schools?
Yeah.
Oh. I know something happened in Texas years back. I don't know when, but it was all up to this one inmate or something. And like he was in court and it was like decision time. And they were like, he said pennies. And they told this dude, because people in Texas, I guess, revolted against the system. I don't know. But they were tired of working for free and they were tired of not getting parole. Like that was the thing. And so they found this one guy, kind of like, what's the lady that they use to make abortions legal? Oh, what was her name?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. But they took a lady and they used her to show that abortions need to happen and all this. And not even a few years later, she literally, I mean, if you go watch this is crazy. And it's true. So no offense on the people that are Democrats. I'm talking about the Democratic Party. They used this lady and made her believe that she needs to do this. A few years later, when she came to herself, she said, "I cannot believe I allowed the Democrats to make me believe that this was a good idea." But Roe versus Wade, right? But this lady finally came out and admitted it was the dumbest thing I ever did was this whole abortion thing. Well, in the prison system in Texas, it's the same thing. They used one person, and this decision, it was said it was going to be final. So all the pressure was on this dude. And basically it came down to this. He's the one that's going to make the decision. Look, I don't know nothing about this guy. Y'all want to look him up? Y'all can. I don't know if he's educated or not. I do not know. But basically, they told him, do you want the inmates in prison to get paid or do you want them to get parole faster? Now, somebody make a poll. Jordan, you're the poll master. Make a poll, bro. Make a poll and say, if you were that person, what would you choose? Get out of prison sooner or get paid while you're in prison? Make a poll, Jordan, if you don't mind, or somebody. It doesn't matter who it is, and make it for 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know if I can when I'm on the panel.
Oh, okay.
You can not when you're on the panel.
Okay,
No.
somebody that's not on a panel, make a poll. Listen, put the time limit for 1 minute, okay? Not like Jordan. Jordan put like a freaking 30-year time limit. We're never going to get to read that darn poll.
I do 2 minutes usually.
1 minute. 1 minute. I want to see what everybody would vote for. What would you vote for if you were that person and they said, all right, there's going to be no more dispute after this. No more. Y'all are either getting paid while you're here or making parole faster. Which one is it? And I want to see what.
That's an easy choice for me.
Let's do the poll. Let's let the poll speak. Nobody, please.
Well, we can't vote when we're on the panel anyway.
Okay, well, it's all right. We won't vote. What the heck? Nobody can make a poll? Oh, my God. We serious right now.
A mod.
I'm not a mod, bro.
Christian, there's a reason you're not a mod, Christian. God, Jesus
You're
Christ.
on the panel anyway, so you wouldn't be able to make the poll, so I don't even know why you said that.
Flip, you're not a mod?
He'd be making ad-lib.
Bro, Flip, you're a mod, bro. Hold on a sec.
No,
hold on. Okay, Flip, that's because a few months back, I unmodded everybody and slowly started adding them. Hold on. Let me put, Flip, I'm going to add you as a mod, bro. Hold on.
The question was, Breezy, because he could do it. The question is, would you rather be paid in prison or paroled faster?
Yeah, so look, paid in prison or parole faster, and then put, A, paid in prison, B, faster parole or paroled faster, whatever. A and B. And I want to see.
Hey, by the way, prisoners make furniture. In all the
hold on, Dre. Let me say this, guys. Can y'all quit? Don't listen. Do not answer. Put it in the poll. The poll is up. We're not asking you to put your answer in the chat.
Well, that's not the right poll.
Not the right.
Who made this freaking poll, man?
Gotta go in there and edit. And
how many Christians? Angers will it take to unalive a silver?
That's an old poll. That's an old poll. So when someone makes a new one, they got to look over it again and make sure they select their new poll.
Oh my God.
All right, it's up.
All right.
I think I misspelled prefer, but it's fine.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Bro, B literally says April as in the month faster. What does that mean?
Oh no, that was that did it itself.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, guys, the question of the poll is which Listen, the question is, which one, if you were the one making the choice, which one would you pick? So it's really not which one do you prefer. No, if you were making the choice that was going to stand, it was going to stand forever. Would you tell the court, I want the prisoners to get paid while they're in prison, or I want them to get faster parole? You understand? They're asking you. You're the inmate that's going to make the final choice. If you make the wrong one, you'll be unalived in a week. So which one would you pick? That's the question.
You're an inmate, by the way.
You're an inmate, okay? And they're asking you for whatever reason. You're the moron that they decided to push this on, so you better make the right choice or get slapped around forever. And then we're going to discuss it real quick, and then we'll get to some Bible.
By the way,
April because I'm an April baby, so
the
April.
The prisoners, they do make furniture. They make office chairs, all this stuff, and it's for government building and schools. License plates, mattresses, clothing, signs, license plates. They make all this stuff. And it says, by the way, inflation has hit your state. So now you would have gotten paid 12 cents an hour instead of 10 cents an hour, by the way. So you got an extra 2 cents an hour. Some people make $1 an hour. Texas and Georgia and Arkansas pay you nothing.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Because in Texas, they were not given parole and you were not making no money. So they said, all right, we're going to give in one direction, but we're going to find the right idiot to do it. And this is the idiot. All right, so the poll is in. All right, so 42% said get paid. 57% said make parole faster. So the majority of people in here voted to make parole faster. All right, so now let's go over which one would be the most correct answer and why. So somebody on the poll, which one, because we can't vote, but it didn't matter who it is. Somebody on the poll, which one of them would you have voted for? To get paid while you're in or make parole faster?
Make parole faster. That was my choice.
All right. Yep. Why? Why would make parole faster be the better choice?
Because you want to get out of there and you're not getting paid like garbage. You're getting paid garbage.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to get back to your family and be back up as a productive member of society. 10 cents an hour is not doing nothing for nobody outside of prison.
All right. So let's look at it. Let's look at it both ways. So is it possible that if you would have forced Texas to pay you, if you would have done that, they would have started kicking people out of prison faster anyway? Is that possible? So let me, huh?
Say again?
All right. Is it possible that if the idiot, because let me tell you, first of all, the idiot chose to make parole faster. Let me tell you how that was the wrong answer. It was the wrong answer. That's a freaking raw, the dumbest crap I ever heard in my life that this idiot chose to make parole, bro. All the system has to do is fake a reason why you can't make parole. That's it. It's the dumbest choice. If he would have said, you got to pay us if we're going to work, bro, they would have been getting them out of there, bro. They don't want to be sitting there paying all this extra money. So this is the debate. This is the debate, bro. You need to use your head for a sense. It's crazy that everybody says they don't trust the system, but you're going to trust them to give you parole? It's the dumbest crap I ever heard in my life, bro. When I heard this, I was like, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Somebody made this idiot believe that give him parole. That sounds good, bro. But all they have to do is, oh, well, you were going to get parole, but we found too many stamps in your envelope. Hey, we found a shake in his room. Bro, are you serious? But if you would have forced Texas to pay you, do you know how much money? I don't care if it's 5 cents. Somebody look up how many inmates are in Texas prisons. Somebody look it up. How many inmates? I'm going to guess 50,000, 100,000, some crazy number. I don't know. It's got to be at least 100,000. I'm guessing. I don't know.
134,000.
Okay, 100. Oh wow, 134,000, like 150,000. Okay, so somebody do the math. 150. Look, let's say I don't know how much. Flip. Somebody tell me how much money did you guys get paid? Like what do we?
12 cents is the minimum. 12 cents is the minimum.
Oh, 12 cents. All right, so let's just do 10 cents. So if you're somebody do the math real quick. If you're working 40 hours a week, God, let's just play the game, okay? 40 hours a week and you're getting paid 10 cents an hour. Somebody, I mean.
It's $123,000 a day if everyone's getting 12 cents.
If everybody's getting 12 cents?
Yes.
Okay.
For an 8-hour, assumedly an 8-hour workday.
I saw 172,000 inmates.
Okay, it doesn't matter. We're going to say 130,000. Okay, I need someone to fact check that number. Listen, if 130,000 people are working 8 hours a day at 10 cents, we can just do 10 cents to make the number easy. How much money? No, I'm talking about per day. Let's just figure out the number per day, guys. You got 130,000 people getting paid 10 cents an hour for 8 hours. Somebody do the math for one day. How much money is that? I need 2 people to confirm this number.
Well, you said 12 cents was the minimum, and so that was
no, I didn't. Somebody else said 12. I said 10. I've been saying 10 the whole time. Hold on. Who said that? What? Texas don't pay?
104,000.
Let me say this quick. Gene, hold on. Let me say this quick. Hold on.
130,000 employees.
All right, Gene, we know Texas don't pay, brother. That's what we're talking about. Maybe you just got here. We're talking about if Texas did. All right, I'm sorry, Dre. What's the number?
If it was 130,000 inmates, it's $104,000 a day.
All right, let's just say 100,000 a day. Okay, let's just say that $100,000 a day. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. Somebody do 365 days in a year. I mean,
it's about $39 million.
Okay, so you mean to tell me? Let me tell you something about Texas, bro. They do like locking people up, throwing away the key. I get all that, but when you start talking about that right there, that alone would have caused them to let people make parole. And these idiots focused on making parole, bro, instead of getting paid. Texas is not going to want to pay another 30, 40 million. They're already paying everything else. They're not going to want to pay another 30, 40. So this idiot went in there and said, we want to make parole. Bro, y'all were already making parole. What are you talking about? They made them believe that there's a way that they can make more parole. Golly, it's the dumbest crap I ever heard in my life. The answer is you make them pay, bro. That's the answer. They're not going to want to pay everybody all the time. There's going to be parole made. But again, I understand it's debatable, but what I'm saying is if you're making them pay, they ain't trying to keep everybody in there like that, bro. They're not. Restitution fees. Oh no, Gene, you're good, man.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a lose-lose no matter how you look at it.
No. First of all, the whole thing's a lose-lose. It is. But I'm saying really what I'm pointing out is how people are always saying the system is corrupt. The system is corrupt. If you believe it's corrupt, the only thing you can hold them to is if they say, okay, we'll pay. There's no way out of that. You cannot corrupt that, bro. The numbers are going to show up. But what you can do, if there's people you don't want to get out, I found a shake in your room. That's it. We were going to give you parole. Oh, wow. I found a feather that belonged to a bird in your room. I mean, bro, come on, bro. But you trust the system now to let you make parole. That's really what I'm pointing at. That's all I'm saying. People are like, I don't trust the system. I don't trust the system. Oh, but we're going to let them give us more parole. What I'm saying is the inmates are not going to make more parole. I don't care what anybody says, okay? But if you would at least told Texas to pay them, at least they would have got a benefit. Some of those guys would have been able to go to Walmart and get, peanut butter or ramen noodles or whatever. They would be able to go buy something. You got guys in there that can't buy nothing. And now they're not making parole. They still can't buy nothing. I'm just saying. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, bro. For real, no contraband, no parole. Yeah, that's right. Contraband, whatever. You know, I don't know. We found a jelly bean in your room. Where'd you get jelly beans? I don't know. It's just, Lord have mercy. It's craziness, Furniture. I don't know. I think Benny said something about Oklahoma making furniture. Like, wow. But the only thing I know that Texas does. Hey, what else does Texas make? They got to make something else, right? They can't just be license plates. What else does Texas make? Does anybody know? Texas make anything else? Flip, I should have just joined the army. Yeah, that would have been a plus. Barbecue. Nobody knows what else they make. BRB? Oh.
Dak Prescott jerseys?
They probably do, bro. Because there's a lot of them. The Walls unit? What is that? It's a prison unit. Makes beds. Makes beds for who? What kind of beds we talking about? Freaking king size luxury beds or what? Who they sell them to? They make beds and uniforms for inmates. Beds? I thought inmates had like a little mat. Y'all call them beds, bro? I've seen one of those things before. They look like yoga mats or something. I'm not talking about that junk. I'm talking about stuff that they make outside of prison, bro. Like license plates. They make plastic? No, guys, come on. I'm talking about outside of prison. I'm not talking about stuff that you make. Oh, we make the bars. What bars? The bars on the doors. I don't care about that crap. We make paint. Oh, what kind of paint? Oh, paint that paints the prison. I'm not talking about that junk. I'm talking about stuff that goes outside the walls, like plates, license plates. Oklahoma got us beat. Boy, they make furniture. Lord have mercy.
I was about to say, Dre said that they made stuff for schools and government buildings. I don't know.
Yeah. I was pregnant in jail and they gave me 3 mats. What? What are we talking about? They gave you 3 mats. Why? What did they give you 3 mats for? I don't get it. What did they give you 3 of them for? They gave you, I know why they gave you 3. They gave you 1 to put on the bottom, and then they gave you 2 to put on top of that mat. That way your belly can stick, like if you lay on your stomach. That way it can, no, maybe not. Okay. Those things are rough.
Man, I made more money behind bars than most of these folks make out here in a lifetime.
Oh my God, here we go. Now I knew we summoned the wrong one.
You talking to a man that did 16 years.
All right, well, I can promise you this. I can promise you this. We ain't here to talk about all that. I was just making fun of the idiot.
I know that's right.
I was just making fun of the idiot that chose quote unquote parole. It sounds good. Listen, if they would have literally been making parole left and right, wow, that'd have been great. But that ain't happened. At least them dummies in there would have been getting paid. Golly. Man. All right, well, we ain't here to talk about all the idiots in the world, right. But I had to bring it up.
How's my bridges doing? How y'all doing?
Man, we're doing amazing, bro. How are you doing?
Oh, brother. Well, I just had to sit back. I had to do a reset, reflect. Went to go get my DOT physical the other day, and my blood pressure was pretty high. It was very alarming.
It was very alarming? Yeah.
It was very alarming. Yeah, brother. They tried to scare me, brother.
Oh man, you can't let them
They
do
said
that.
we gonna have to check you in, brother. Put you on some pills.
Uh-oh. Hey, remember, once you start them pills, you can't come up. Well, you can, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
I'm not gonna take them, brother.
Yeah, you just gotta, you know, hey, look, we don't live forever. That matter of fact, there ain't been one human that's lived forever. So we're all gonna, doomsday comes for us all. That's gonna happen, period, okay? But you got to make sure that you're at the right age, the blood pressure's at, once that combination meets, where it's like, you know, I'm at a certain age, that blood pressure's getting really high. At that point is when you make that decision. I'm telling you, I know people that have been fooled to believe they got high blood pressure. Listen, because they're one number over. Just one number. One, bro. And they're 30. And now they got to take them pills the rest of them life. You might as well take them pills for 20 years, not 50. Golly. It's crazy. Y'all make sure y'all...
Yeah, I'm not taking them.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, and then you got people who don't take them. Hey, I know people, they were told in their 30s and 40s, you got high blood pressure. They still live to 80. They never took those pills. And then you got people, they actually, you know, did have a heart attack 5 years later. It's just, nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. So... If whoever you are, if you decide to take it, just remember, once you take it, that's a wrap. You got to keep taking, you got to stay on it. A good friend of mine, it was the mother of a good friend of mine. She passed away because she couldn't afford the medication, and she started taking it. And then she stopped taking it, and literally within a year or two, she passed away. She had a heart attack, passed away. But...
Yeah, this would be a matter of me, you know, they, instead of them giving me the renewal, my CDLs for 2 years, they only gave it to me for 3 months. So it'll be a matter of when I go back in 3 months, if it's high, then they'll possibly take my license.
Oh, so, okay. Well, that's different. That's different. So there's other factors there. Yeah. Yeah, that's different. I get that. I understand that.
But maybe the Lord got a job change in place for me. I don't know. I don't worry. I never stress or worry. Not intentionally, at least. Because God is always a provider, man. That's why, you know, to what you were saying about even when I was, you know, on my sabbatical all those years, man, God provided in mysterious ways, you know. He just provided, man. Yeah. I never lacked. And that's why I know no one can convince me otherwise if God is real. Man, he is so real. And I lost a lot in those 16 years, but man, experiences that I had behind those razor wires and 40-foot walls and whatever you want to call it, brother, I would not give nothing. I wouldn't trade them for nothing. I've been YouTubing you, brother. I've been YouTubing for as I've been driving down the road. When there's a lot of nonsense going on the channels, you know, I just say, let me go to D-Scale and just listen to my family for a few hours. Yeah. Now, I came across a conversation on one that I'm looking at where you and Dre was talking about John at the cross with Mary and Jesus. I think it was your very first Spirit, Soul, and Body edition, number 1. I was looking at. Yeah. And do you remember why you said he was there? Like y'all was talking about that he didn't have brothers and sisters or something like that. Remember? I remember a lot of people like, well, okay. So John being at the cross, I remember having that conversation with a lot of people. So I'm trying to remember, what did someone say that would make me say something like, because I say a lot of different things because based on what people are saying about the incident. So remind me, like when we started talking about it,
Like, how did that go? Like, what? Right? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Or you don't remember what?
I may still have it right here because I think I'm still watching it.
Okay.
Let me see. You and Dre. Let me see. I just wanted because I think y'all was saying like, let me see, Tree of Life. Man, I must have watched the whole thing. That's 6 hours, and I've been watching you, brother. Let me see. Okay, here it is. Let me see. I want to say it was this one, number 1, 3.5 hours. Brother, you almost worse than Geno Jennings, bro. I thought nobody could go.
Huh? Hey, worse.
Geno
Hold on.
Jennings
Hold on. I'm worse. Why? For what reason?
No,
Hold on a second. What you laugh? Hey, you cracking up hard. Hold on. Let us catch up with you, bro. Hold on. Hold on a second. I'm already laughing at what you might. What? Just say it, bro. What? Why am I worse?
No, I'm saying, brother, the 10-hour lessons, brother.
Oh.
But it ain't a bunch of dogs.
Hey, are you saying I could just go all day? Is that what you're saying?
On and on and on.
My bad. I can't help it, bro.
Yeah. Hey, I love it though.
There's so much there. It's so much there, bro. It's so much there, man. Yeah. He said you almost bad as.
Let me see. I don't know.
Hey, hold on. Let me say this. Hey, let me say this because you were telling me, bro, you need to make a church, bro. Nobody would come. I would never shut up, bro. Like it just wouldn't. It wouldn't be good, bro. Hey, yeah. Everybody trying to go watch the game. They're trying to go eat, and I'm like, hold on. I got one more thing. Hey, I can't take people Sunday, but throughout the week, hey, people got things they're doing, and they could just listen. And I was like, you know what? Let's just use that time because nobody want to go sit down in front of some loudmouth while he's just sitting there bumping his gums all day.
Well, I know, like you said, like when you do the podcast is going to be so much better because, like, when you have like an introduction and then like.
Can y'all hear me now?
Like this random.
Yeah, hold on a second, Dre. Yeah, are you saying we couldn't hear you before? I didn't hear you talk when you came up last time.
Yeah, I was trying to talk, but it wasn't working.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Amazing is talking about. I said that according to the law, that people were saying that Jesus wouldn't have had brothers and sisters because he passed his mother on to Mary, because he didn't have a next of kin allegedly. But there's no law that's. I researched that Amazing. There is no law, there is no halakha, and there's no law that says that when a child dies that he has to pass his mother on to a next of kin. There is no such law, so the Catholics are lying.
Oh, the thing is though, Dre, it is a law though, and it. Because see, the thing is too that Joseph wasn't there, right?
You breaking up.
Neither was Joseph there.
All right. So what's the point? What's the point of the? Hold on. What's the point of the conversation? Like, what do we talk?
Purview. The point was that people were saying that they were trying to prove that that Mary was a perpetual virgin and didn't have any children because Jesus passed on his mother to John and not to one of his biological children, which would have been the next of kin. But there is no law that says that you have to pass your mother on to the next of kin. There is no law of this.
Well, okay, what's the point of this? What?
To prove that Jesus didn't have brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay. Okay, because if he had brothers and sisters, then he wouldn't have said, John, here's your mother, here's your son.
Exactly.
Oh, my God, bro. Where'd this crap come from? Oh, Lord have mercy, dude.
Yeah, but the thing that I was looking at, well, the reason why I believe Jesus said what he said from the cross was I believe that he was preaching adoption right there. That's what I believe. And
what do you mean?
I was just saying a minute ago that, well, I believe he was preaching adoption because Jesus did have brothers and sisters. We know that.
Hold on. Hold on a second. Are we trying to find out why Jesus said that to John? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, that's what I was.
Yes, in essence,
based upon the conversation y'all was having.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did I say in the video?
You said because God
you
will.
And Drake, go ahead. Yeah.
Because you said God willed it. That's why.
Okay, but yeah, okay. Look, there's a lot of things to say about that, but one thing I know for sure, okay, that it was because out of all the people, who was James? James wasn't Jesus's brother?
Yes.
Oh, where was he at? He ran like a coward, right?
Well, from a messianic perspective, what the rabbis say, like, or what I've been told at least in tradition, is that they didn't accept Christ as the Messiah till afterward.
Okay, but again, right.
They all ran.
Okay, listen.
They all ran.
Listen, this is easy. This is so easy. When it regards to God, bro, God looks at the person's heart. That's it. And at this time, John was the only one there, bro. Meaning, even James doesn't know how to take care of his own freaking mom, but John would because his heart's in it. That's why he said, woman, son, mother, because of where their hearts were. That's it. It's that simple. All this other stuff that people's trying, bro, it's because their hearts were right. That is it. That's why he did it. Why would he have told Peter, look out for my mom? Dude was a coward. The Pope was a coward, bro. Period. That's why.
But John ran too, though. Right?
At the cross, he was at the cross, bro. We're talking about.
He came back.
It don't matter. He still was. He's the only one. He's the only male at the cross. I don't care if we sit here and play the game. Well, he did that, bro. He was still at the cross. Period. He was still there. How about this? How come nobody else came back then? He was the only one. He was the only one. So that don't matter. That don't matter if he ran and got scared.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the truth is.
All I'm saying is.
Yeah.
I just believe that what Jesus did from the cross, to me, I believe that Jesus was instituting adoption. I think that's a deeper truth to it, because we know that if Joseph wasn't present, the husband.
Yeah.
Then now, Drake, it is law that now, if the father's not there, then if there is a biological son or a daughter there, then that is their obligation to take care of the mother, who has now become a widow, right?
Yeah. Okay.
There's no law in the Torah that says that. You got to show me the law in the Torah. You're not going to find that.
Look,
you're talking about oral tradition now. That's what I'm saying. Like even when people make this art, like I do the argument from like a Barney style Peshat dumb idiot way of looking at it, right? But when people bring me this argument, I just say, hey, there's no such law that you would point out that this would happen, and then you would have to say, well, it's oral law, it's Mishnah Torah. Well, you don't believe in Mishnah Torah, so why are you even pointing that out to begin with? Jesus came to abolish all legalism, so it doesn't add up.
Yeah, but even if we were to say this is pointing to adoption, I mean, I guess the only way I could respond to that literally would be no duh. Like, Jesus came because it was all about the heart. You understand? So the Gentile were, quote unquote, adopted because of their heart. Again, from the very beginning, this all has to do because of the heart. If we want to give it a name and say, well, it's pointing to adoption, it's pointing to the, why don't we just get straight to the jugular? The nucleus of what this is showing is it's all about the heart. It has always been about the heart. And the fact that those two were there, the heart was there. The motive is the heart. So because they were not in fear to become unalived, because of that one very important factor, son, mother, mother, son. Why? Because they would never leave one another. Why? Because their heart is right. They're not in it for themselves. They're not allowed them flesh to be scared of persecution. They're going to do the right thing. And both of them, Mary and John, out of all the disciples, even the Pope was like the cowardly lion that ran away. That's why, again, this goes back to, that's why Peter beckoned to John when Jesus was talking about someone was going to stab him in the back. Peter beckoned to John. Hey, who's he talking about? Even Peter knew the relationship between John and Jesus was better. Something was better about it. And when you study the Bible, we know what that is. John was like Mary while Martha was cooking. Peter is like Martha trying to do all this work, and Mary at the feet, the sister of Martha, while she's at the feet of Jesus, John was at the feet of Jesus at the cross, bro. It's all based on the heart. It's such a simple, so simple what's taking place there at the cross.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I would say, Dre, that so you're saying to the mitzvah, right? Well, when you get, what is the fifth, honor thy mother and thy father, right? That's what's the fourth, the fifth?
Yeah.
That commandment with the promise.
Yeah.
So you're saying, so maybe what they're saying is they add that on orally to say, hey, this is honoring your parents, like you supposed to take care of them.
Yeah, but that's a commandment while you're alive. Like there's no caveat that says if you're gonna die, honoring your father or your mother is to pass them on to the next of kin. It doesn't. Nowhere does it say that. That's my point.
Yeah. So is there another point trying to be made with this or what?
No.
Okay.
I would just like, when I was listening to it, I get what you're saying though, but I just think that by those 7 utterances that Jesus uttered from the cross, man, I just think that I get you saying it's the hard, period, point blank. I just think it's more depth to it though.
But it's not. I can show you it's not. Anything that you were to bring up, like if you were to say there's something deeper than that, right? And you bring it up, the only way that what you would bring up would be true is because of the heart. It doesn't matter what other thing you say. Like if you were to say, oh, well, I think Jesus was trying to do this. Well, whatever this is wouldn't be able to happen if it wasn't for the heart. So what I'm saying is the heart posture, there is no further to go. There is no deeper. Once you find why Jesus did things that he did and you understand it's because of the heart, you can't dig any further than that. So that actually means whatever something else you're looking for is more superficial. It ain't deeper. So if you were to say, well, there's something else going on there, yeah, but it's up here. It ain't down there. It's not deeper. Understanding that God looks at the heart and fully understanding that and relying on that to be true, there's no deeper. There's no deeper revelation than to understand that you cannot earn heaven, that nobody physically can do something other than looking at how God sees or views things, and it's always going to be based on the heart. So what I'm saying is the deepest you can get, there is no deeper. When it comes to John and Mary being at the feet of Jesus, the reason why he said what he said is because their heart was right. That's it. Now, if you're saying, oh, well, yeah, but there's some other thing, maybe so, but they're up there. They're not down. They're not deeper. They're more superficial reasons. They're not deeper. That's what I'm trying to say. I went straight to the nucleus of why he said what he said. So are there other reasons? Of course there are, but they're more superficial. They're not deeper. The heart is the deepest it gets. And that's why Jesus said to the scribe and the Pharisees, they love me with their lips. That's superficial. That's up here. He said, but their heart is far away from. He gets straight to the jugular. Something's wrong with your heart. It's always the heart. There's nothing any deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's the basic. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's how we get the promises of God. That's how we please Him.
Yeah, it's the
it all boils down to.
Yeah. Now
that.
it seems simple, but it's really not, because when you get someone to describe God's heart that says, "Oh yeah, well that's easy." Okay. Well, describe God's heart to me. A lot of the times, these people can't talk longer than 2 minutes. See, having the head knowledge that it's all about the heart is not the same thing as having it rooted in you. Someone that fully understands God's heart, and I'm talking about the way God describes himself, they can talk about his heart forever, because that's all he's given us to see is his heart, him, which is our heart. And matter of fact, talking about that, I'm pretty much almost done with the book that I've been working on for, I don't know, I've probably talked about it for 2 years or 3 years here, but I just hadn't had time to sit down and do some like minor adjustments. But I'm almost completely done with it. It's not going to be a real long book, to be honest. One of my books is kind of long, but this one's not real long. But it is straight to the jugular, and it is referring to God's heart and all that. But I've been working on it for a minute, off and on. But because we're talking about that right now.
So let me ask you about this. I got to find my charges and everything. Am I seeing this wrong? In what chapter is it? In 15, where Jesus talks about I'm the vine, you the branches.
Yeah,
that's
John
15.
15. John 15. Yeah.
John 15.
Yep. Chapter 15.
Let me get my Bible right fast. I see three distinctions, or three types of people. I want to see if you see the same thing. I'm gonna just kind of paraphrase it. He says, "Okay, I'm the vine, you the branches." He say, "In the branch that does not abide in me," he say, "My Father." What's that word that he used? People say that word, and I'm not trying to get into like the once saved always and all that mess. I'm just saying I want to see if you see. You got the ones that abide in him, but the ones that don't produce, he said his Father. It seems like it said break them off and cast them forth or whatever. But I don't think that's the true definition of what it's saying. Jesus Christ. Let me get to it. Then you got those ones that truly are not in him at all.
All right, so where are we going exactly?
Let me read it right fast.
All right,
John chapter 15. I'm gonna start at the first verse. He said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away." Now you see that? There's a branch in him that bears not fruit, but is in him, right?
Yeah. What? Hey, what? I'm sorry. What verse? What verse?
Away.
What verse you at?
John 15 verse 2.
2. Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
He said, "Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth, that it may bring forth more fruit." He said, now you got the one, he said, that bears not fruit. Then you got the branch that bear fruit, that he purges. Then he says in verse 3, "Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye except you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing." Then in verse 6 it says, "If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned." So that's the third category. You see what I'm saying? You got the one in verse 6 that does abide at all. Then in verse 2, he say, every branch in me that bears not fruit, he taketh away. Then the second part had to say, every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth that it may bring forth more fruit. So I see three categories of individuals.
All right, let's go over it. All right, let's look at it that way. Let's break it down in three categories, and we'll just go over them one at a time. All right, so the first one that you're bringing up is in 2, right? Right?
In verse 2, you got.
All right. So look, so check it out. Hold on. Verse 2. Hold on. Okay, number 2, the second one. What verse is it in? The one you're calling second.
Same verse calls B.
What verse is it in?
Yeah, the after the colon. It's verse 2.
Okay, you're saying one. You're saying okay, you're saying there's 3. Hold on a second. Amazing, because you keep cutting off. Guys, if y'all can hear what he's saying, let me know. So in verse 2, you're saying 1 and 2 are in verse 2?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then the third one is in verse what? 6. All right, so let's go. All right, so verse 2, it says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he take away. You're calling that, so we'll say that's A. Out of one of them, that's A, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll put no fruit he takes away. Okay, no fruit. He takes away. All right, and then then it says, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth, that it may bring forth more fruit. So this one we'll put B, and we'll say purged for more fruit. Purged for more fruit. Because we're talking about salvation. Is that why you're bringing this up? Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
All right. Hold on. Let me go over this one. All right. So 6 says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and man gather them and cast them into fire, and they are burned. And then 7 says, if ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done. All right. So 6 is saying, we'll put a branch not in him become burnt, right?
And men gathered them.
All right, let me make sure to put that in there so we don't lose. All right, it says branch not in me, man. It says man gather them, and they are burnt. All right. All right, so now let's read the whole thing. We're going to read 15. Who can read? We're going to read, matter of fact, we'll probably stop around 20. I think we can. So I need somebody to read 1 through 10 and somebody else to read 11 through 20. Who can read?
I got 11.
Read 11 through 20 where?
I don't know. There's a lot of people talking. What happened?
1 through 10 what? The address?
Christian, how do you not know where we're at? Are you working?
John 15, Christian.
Okay.
Instead of saying I got it, what did you say, Jordan?
Nina's got it.
Nina, what are you reading?
15. John 15, 1 through 10.
All right, go.
I am the vine, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If he abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, so let me say this. So the thing he keeps pointing out when he says the word commandments is love. Right? Look what he says. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. Is that what the law constantly says? If you obey my commandments, you abide in my love. Is that how Moses spoke to the people?
Nope.
No, it was obey the law or die, right? Is that saying the same thing?
Nope.
It's not saying the same thing. And then he says it again, because you have these people that sneak in like a snake, and they'll say this right here: if you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love. But they're only pointing out the commandments, not his love, just his commandments. And then it says, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. So they look at this as just based on performance. But the entire Bible, when you read the entire Bible, the Bible says that God is love. It doesn't say God is commandments. You understand? The Bible doesn't teach God is commandments. It says God is love. For some reason, when someone is very carnally minded, and the fact that they boast about how well they do in God's commandments, they end up being these same people in the Bible where God says you still lack something. You still lack something. What's that? You still can't see God's love. You see obedience only. You don't see God's love. You just see obedience because they're still stuck in the Old Testament. And a lot of them do not believe what Paul says because they say, no, I'm going to do what Jesus says. I'm not going to do what Paul says. But yet Jesus already knew what Paul was going to say, and he sent them. He already knew what Paul was going to say, and he sent them knowing what he was going to say. So people do not want to, they don't want to listen to the captain that Jesus sent. They try to bypass the captain and go to God. And if you know how any of this works, that is not how it works. You're going to do what the captain tells you to do. You don't get to go complain to the general. That's not how it works. You're a low-ranked subordinate. You think you're going to tell the captain, shut up, captain. I'm going to go tell you're about to go to jail. They're going to put you in jail. And say, why didn't you do what the captain said? Well, I don't want to listen to him. I want to listen to you. Well, then you don't understand authority then. You don't. Because if Jesus gave Paul the authority to minister to Gentile, and you say, I don't care, I'm going to do what Jesus says, that makes no sense. God is a God of order. And if he says that that Paul was going to be sent to the Gentile, then you listen to what Paul tells you to do. It's not hard. I don't know what's so hard about this. It's not. But these people say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Listening to Jesus makes more sense. That literally is saying nobody has to listen to anything Paul says. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. It's a very laughable matter when you think you have convinced yourself to believe that you're just going to go. Let me ask you this. Did Jesus come to the Gentile? Is that who he came for? No. So if Jesus didn't come to the Gentile, why you, a Gentile, are running to Jesus? Why? Why are you doing that? He didn't come to the Gentile. unless we're going to say, oh no, what he did, he came for the Gentile. I don't know why we got to keep. So these people that claim that they do what Jesus said, I only listen to what Jesus said. Well, he said he didn't come for the Gentile, but he came for who? How many times does he say, who does he come for?
The Jew first, and the Gentile.
The house of Israel, the Jew. And they said, oh, we're not listening to Paul. We're going to go to Jesus. He didn't come for you. That's another problem. He sent Paul to you. So when these people go to Jesus, they try to put themselves under the law because they think Jesus is telling them to obey the commandments. You missed it. Paul didn't come preaching that. This is when you get people that are so confused that they think that they're standing in the positions of the apostles while Jesus was walking here. That's a lie. That's not true. It's a lie. He sent Paul. Paul did not preach what Jesus was preaching to the to the apostles, to the Jews. He came to save the Gentile, not to put them under the law that Jesus was under and how the disciples were under it. And Jesus still had to speak to them as though they were under the law in those terms. Even though he's the promise, he kept it professional. Let me just put it that way. Isn't it crazy that he knew exactly what he was supposed to do, but he kept it professional, meaning that everything that he was doing it according to the law, but he was yet he was still legally in his right to teach him about himself because he's in the law. So it seems like Jesus did some things that were unorthodox, or he did some things like if he was breaking the law because people can't find it in the law, some of the things that he did or said. That's what these people say. But Jesus told the scribes and the Pharisees, because he had all right to, that you seek scriptures looking for life, but they contest of me. So all he did was take what was already in the law, the truths that were in there, and he was teaching them to the disciples. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Now, to the flesh, it was out of the ordinary. Like something seemed wrong because they only focused on the black letters and the white page. But you have people today that will tell you that and all they're focused on is how Jesus was telling his disciples about the commandments and all these things. So they put these people, liars, eglons is what they are, eglons, fat in themselves. They go say, I don't listen to Paul. Why listen to Paul? I'm going to do what Jesus said, brother or sister, whoever you are. I don't see how you could be so stupid and still breathe. What the heck are you talking about? Jesus sent Paul because the Jesus, when we read the red letters, he's not talking to you today, especially right here. He's talking to the disciples. That's why he said, I'm sending Paul to the Gentiles. Paul. He didn't send Paul to tell all those people, obey the commandments. That's a lie. It's not true. But because Paul was a Jew, obviously, there's a lot of times where he says things like that. But when he's talking to Gentiles, he didn't go over there bringing the 10 Commandments. No, he didn't. He didn't tell them to do what they want. We see that clearly in Corinthians, the Corinth church, where he tells them, hey, so you got somebody sleeping with their own mother-in-law or sister, or either stepmom or mother-in-law, he's like, man, what the heck is wrong with y'all? Bro, he clearly is telling them, hey, we don't do that, but he's not putting them under the demand of the law. No, he's not. He's just pointing out, hey, that's not a godly thing what you're doing. So I'm only saying that because when you have these foolish people that are trying to tell you, I listen to Jesus. Why? Why are you doing that? Jesus sent Paul to us. And you're like, no. I'm a Jew. Jesus is talking to me. Now that's different. If because the traditional thing, that's hard to tell someone to stop doing that. That's hard. You need to leave that alone. Let God handle that. But I'm saying, if you know that you're a Gentile, okay? If you know that we're a Gentile, then you need to be honest with Scripture. Paul was sent to the Gentile. And if you say, I refuse to listen to Paul, then that's on you at this point. Trot, new goal.
But they pick and choose.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mason.
They pick and choose, Trot, when they want to claim Paul and disavow him, because when he get over to Romans 7 and he say, well, I wouldn't have known what covet was except the law said thou shalt not covet. See, he was preaching the law.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case.
No, they do pick and choose. I'm telling you right now, when you have someone that does that, where they use Paul just to push their own narrative, I don't understand. Listen. As soon as I find out someone does that, I do not talk to them anymore. Not in the sense that I hate them, but they're going to have to grow out of that on their own. And I'm not going to be the person to do that. Like, it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. So I no longer entertain their misunderstanding of Scripture. I don't do that. I have way more precious time that I can use to someone who wants to learn, not someone that misunderstands Scripture and they're just trying to get you to be stupid with them. I don't waste my time with those cowards. I call them spiritual cowards is what they are. They rely on the part that Adam gave them. They're not relying on what Jesus gave them. And so to sit there and arguing with them, oh my God, it drives me crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy 100%. Let's see. I'm hoping.
I sure enough can't let them get my blood pressure up now.
Yeah. Well, hey, there you go. Another reason to tell yourself it ain't worth it. Another reason.
Amen.
Right. All right. So, Nina just read 1 through 10. Who's starting at 11?
I am.
All right, go ahead.
These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you.
All right, let me say this. So he says, I don't call you servants, I call you friends, meaning that he tells his friends secrets. You understand? The Bible talks about how God tells us secrets. What he's saying is, the Father speaks, I hear, and if you're my friend, I'll tell you secrets. That's what he just got through saying, right? Where he says, 15, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. And he's saying, you're not a servant. You know what the Lord doeth. He said, I'm telling you. He says, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. So everything, when Jesus said, my words are life, spirit, truth, when he's talking this way, he's saying, I'm not holding anything back, which means now we go back to where he's talking to the disciples, and he's not speaking in parables on purpose. He's 100% saying that he is just speaking it the only way that is true. And if they don't understand what he's saying, he knows why, because their father is still Satan. You understand? Simple. That's how you discern. That's how you can discern. Someone says, I've been reading the Bible 20 years, and you start going through the Garden of Eden, the Tree of Life, and you start talking about what wisdom always talks about in the entirety of the Bible. What does it say to Solomon? Somebody go to Solomon so we can see what Solomon spoke about. Somebody go there. Somebody find it.
1 Kings 4:33.
Yeah, read it.
Where it says he spake of trees.
Yeah, but read it. Read the scripture verbatim. I've been saying this for years. This is all over the Bible. And then you ask yourself, how come people who claim to be Christians have not picked up on this? Why is it still a riddle to them? Yet they say they're Christian, and I'm going to tell you why. Because their lips speak a lip service, but their hearts are far. If your heart is not far from God and your heart is right there, just like Mary and John at the cross, then you are a friend of God and there is nothing kept from you. Very clear. Let me know when you found it.
Right. Yeah, it's 1 Kings 4:33. It says, and he spake of trees from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts and of fowl and of creeping things
and he's supposed to be the wisest man. Do you understand? And the thing he thinks that he needs to talk about is trees, fowls of the air, beasts of the field, fish in the sea. That's what the wisest man. Wise thing is when someone is talking about the trees in the Bible, when they are noticing what the trees are, what the beasts in the field, the fowls of the air, the fish in the sea. These are all people. But when you don't see why would you talk about them? The only reason that would lead a man to talk about these things is because God tells us secrets. That's why. So now that's funny. That's all Solomon talked about. So whose side are you on then? Why are you not talking about what Solomon always talked about? Moses wrote about trees. Moses is the one that wrote about trees, fowls in the air, beasts in the field, fish in the sea. Moses, mercy. What verse were you at?
Yeah, even the next verse it says, and there, I was at 33.
Go ahead.
But 34 says, and there came
all over the world. And first of all, they got their own trees, they got their own beasts, their own fish, but they come all the way over here to hear about more beasts, more fish, and more fowls of the air. No, bro. No, it's because Solomon understood, bro. Okay? He didn't have, he wasn't the hottest, he wasn't the hottest show on Netflix. There wasn't a show.
I was saying, especially since they did something that they think is valuable to hear, and they want to hear it. You know, I saw that passage, like, I broke that down the other day about spirit, soul, body, and it was just like even more magnified, like, wow, that is crazy. But it's sad, man. All these people that or hate from a distance.
Well, you know that verse 3 is also, verse 32 is also like it say he spake 3,000 proverbs. That's somehow that number 3,000 just keep popping up when it pertains to death and life, you know, and godliness and salvation. And his songs were 1,005. Of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even to the hyssop that spring up out of the wall. Wow. He spake all, I mean, that man is a large span to cover, like all the types of people that we have in the world. To the very, to a hyssop springing out of a wall. Good gracious.
Yeah, and in the scriptures, like in the Tanakh, in the Torah, in the Old Testament, the hyssop, the trees, Lebanon, the beasts of the field, the fowls of the air, it's all over in the scriptures. And so it's like you guys really have to stop and say, you know, for you shadow watching cowardice tree watchers, you have to be honest with yourself and say, well, this is just saying he's giving them a lesson on National Geographic. Really? They came all that way for that? It doesn't make sense. It's sad, man. But hey, there will be people who won't let the Bible get in their way, and then there will be people who are like, you know what? I'll let God be my father, and I'll let Him teach me, and they'll see it because they'll trust the Spirit, and He'll guide them into all truth.
Well, the thing that really amplifies it is that verse 34. When it said that it came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all kings of the earth. Well, what do kings do? I mean, no doubt they are in war. They're in delegation. They need wisdom, how to deal with this kingdom, how to overcome, how to fight. It is dealing with the peoples of the earth.
All right, where y'all at?
Yeah, there's two types of kings. He was just talking about the kings. I think in verse, was it 33? Or was that 34?
Yeah. I think it gives that clarity to the beasts, the trees, the fowls, all of these people. Then it says that they're the kings of the earth, But even when it says, even to the hyssop that spring out of a wall. So you're talking about those that are in authority to those that are under authority.
Yeah, so we're talking about all types of people that came to Solomon to hear his wisdom. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it just, what I'm saying is, here we are again, that when it describes what wisdom they came to hear, it just so happens to be trees, fish in the sea, fowl of the air, beast of the field. It just so happens to be those things that the Bible mentions. That's the part that I'm pointing at. That when the Bible mentions what everybody came to hear, it tells us what wisdom he talked about. So then you have a choice. You have a choice. Was he setting up the first National Geographic to the world? Or was he explaining something that's not always easy to hear? You have a choice. It's again, here we are at this crossroad again. We see the same option being there, and there's people that's like, no, we just don't understand what it is. All right, suit yourself, but don't pinch me and wake me up. Suit yourself, though. All right, so where are we at?
You had went back to verse 15, but I think
Jordan was reading
16, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan, just read 16 to 20.
Yep. Verse 16 and John 15, it says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also."
Okay. All right. So now that we kind of went over this 15, 1 through 20. All right. So Amazing is trying to point out, because no, the pointing out's quite simple. They're there. He said, so he talks about branches that have no fruit, and those branches get taken away. And then it talks about other branches that are purged for more fruit. And I think everybody knows that this one we're going to call the 30, some 60, some 100-fold, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we can call those the 30, 60, 100, meaning those are being purged and they bring more fruit. And there's some other ones purged and they bring more fruit. And we can say because there's purging and more fruit coming, we can say 30, 60, 100 fold. We can say that. All right. And then we have those that are in me bear no fruit, and he takes them away. And then we have another branch that says, if there's a branch that's not in me, man gather them, and they are burnt. It says men gather them. So when Jesus said this right here, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whosoever ye shall ask of my Father in my name, he'll give you. But then he says right here, they hate you, they hate me. Let's see, remember the word. Hold on, see. 19, he says, if ye were of the world would love his own, but because you are not of this world, but I have chosen you out of the world. He chose us. Out of where? The world, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's why Jesus said, I'll make you fishers of men, meaning catching fish out of the sea. Book of Revelation tells us there is no more sea because that sea represents the world. It represents the boisterous winds. It represents the murmurings. It's all the complaining. It's all the people that never figured it out. And I'm not saying in a sense that God's going to be blamed. No, God makes it very clear every man has a choice. So these people that are trying to tell you there is no choice, someone has crept in and placed a big lie on their heart. If there was no choice, that means that there will be a man that can stand before God and be justified that he doesn't belong to hell. He don't belong there because you put me there. I had no choice. You just put me there. Somebody will be able to stand before God in his own court system and point his finger and tell God that he's unjust. Doesn't the Bible tell us that he's a just God? He's just. That doesn't mean he gets to do whatever he wants. He even obeys his own rules. So when people play these games and say things like there is no choice, someone has come in, crept in, and has scaled over you in a way that you believe there is no choice. And that's a lie. That's not true. That is not even close to being true. He says, I set before you life and death. And he says, choose life. And they go back to these scriptures. They go back to these scriptures that say, well, I do this and I do that. Well, what about that scripture that says he even gives you the answer, choose life? All it does is show that they didn't choose life. They chose death, but they chose it. Nobody will be able to stand before God and say, it was you did all this. And some people would say, Pharaoh. Oh, okay. So Pharaoh is going to be justified. Listen to this. He's going to be justified to stand before God and say, you didn't allow me to choose you. I want you to think about that for a second, how crazy that sounds. We are going to sit here, misunderstand scripture, and say that Pharaoh is going to stand before God. The Bible says God is not mocked. But by this way of thinking, Pharaoh can mock God and say, I didn't reap what I sowed. I didn't reap it. You just made me everything that I was. You made it this way. No, bro, you really think someone's going to be able to stand before God and blame God? You know the reason that they would say nobody could stand before God and blame God? Because he's God. He's great. No, you're a peasant. Get away. I do what I want. That's how they see God. It's not true. It's not true. No. And God's system, when God says that no man will be able to boast, no man, that means that they will not be able to say, you did whatever you want. I was a no good for nothing peasant. I never had a choice. No man's going to be able to say that. They had a choice and they chose wrongfully. He said, I set before you life and death. Choose life. He gives you the answer. He tells you to choose. But now we're going to say that there's people in this world, they didn't get a choice. Now, how is that just? Some people get a choice and some don't. And then again, they run to the scriptures that say, right here, look, God did it, no choice. No, now that contradicts choice. Don't you understand? You are misunderstanding what you're reading. Nothing in the Bible is going to contradict choice. You're misunderstanding what you're reading. If you get to a point that it takes away choice and God says, I set before you life and death, choose life. And he goes, oh, well, that's talking about the people he already knows is going to go to heaven. If he already knows they're going to heaven, why is there a choice then? No, everybody gets a choice. Everybody. Even Satan had a choice. He chose wrongfully. King Saul had a choice. If he would have unalived everything like the prophet told him, God said unalive everything. And he didn't. And the prophet said that the kingdom of heaven has been stripped from you. Why? But he said, but if you would have done everything God told you, he said, well, then your kingdom would have reigned forever. He had a choice. He made the wrong choice. So this whole game, yeah, but God knew he was going to do it. It don't matter. He still had a choice. We didn't know what he was going to do. We know now because we're reading it. Watch this. In 10 days, anybody here know what's going to happen in 10 days? Does anybody know? You know, it's funny.
Not at all.
Nobody, you don't know. But God knows. So let me ask you this. Because God knows, does that mean we're not going to make a choice 10 days from now? Because God knows what's going to happen, you still have to make a choice every day. All right, but so verse 6 where it says, a branch that's not in him, it says men will gather them. What man? The fish of the sea, the world, those men will gather them. Just like we fish, the men fish too. You understand? Everybody's fishing. But in the Bible, when we are catching people that are looking for God, we use nets. But whenever you're catching the fish of the Leviathan, we use hooks. The Leviathan said, can you take a hook? Can you catch him with the hook? Can you do that? Can you grab him? Can you get a hold of him? They asked Jesus, they told Peter, hey, do y'all pay taxes or what? Yeah. Jesus said, well, look, guys, listen. The king do not charge their kids taxes. They charge everybody else. So we don't offend them. Peter, go to the sea and drop a hook. He didn't say drop a net. He said drop a hook. And the first one that you get on that hook, open its mouth and get the money out of it. Again, pointing to that money's a tool, but it comes from the world. Comes from the world, so we're going to get it from the world so we don't offend them and give them their taxes. Very simple what he's saying. Jesus is 100% telling you, pay your taxes. But the only taxes they get is the taxes that's already in the world. That's what they get. That's why he said, bring me a coin. Whose face is that? Caesar's. That which is Caesar's, give to Caesar. That which is God, give to God. Simple, so simple. It's not hard at all. The part that's kind of hard is when you're not understanding what the purpose that he said, hey, go catch a fish out of the sea. He told Peter, I'm going to make you fishers of men. But the ones that are mine, you'll catch with the net. Cast your net on the right side, he told him. Net, which is love, a gathering. Hook, not love. Force, we'll take it by force, but not the kind of force that you think. Why did he say the first one that comes to the hook? Why? Because the people of the world are greedy. If you put bait on a hook, they'll all fight to get it. All of them. They'll kill each other to get it. But the one that bites, grab that one. He'll have precious metals come out of his mouth, but they're precious metals of this world. So we're going to use their jewels that they have because it's only jewels of this world. We'll use that, and that's how we'll pay. But he told Peter, take a hook, not a net. But there were twice Jesus told Peter, cast a net on the right side. And they cast so many fish that the net was busting. Another one, so many fish they had to call another boat. But it was all about what they were using, the net, and it was all about the right side. We bring people to Christ by using Christ, the right side, the love, grace, and mercy of God, who is Christ. But it says, branch that is not in him, man gather. You understand? They're not in Christ. That means they're of the world. Therefore, the men gather them. That's why when the man told Jesus, I want to go with you, but my father, he's going to die pretty soon. He said, let the dead bury the dead. You follow me. Talking about let the man gather the dead branches. When the man gathered the dead branches, they'll take care of them. But you that have life, come and follow me, he says. So, what does it mean when he says, the branch that is not in me, men gather them, and they are burnt? So this is those that worry about things of this world. So let's go to the parable of the sower. Let's go to the parable of the sower. Who's going there?
Matthew 13, anybody.
Somebody, Matthew 13, parable of the sower.
I got it. Because I know you was about to say, all right, I'll do it.
I literally was.
So let me see, 13, that fell. I'm going to start at verse 1. The same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat.
Find the four soils there.
Mark.
It don't matter which one though.
Starts at 3.
You say in Matthew or Mark?
It should be in both.
Stony places. Okay. Let me see. Verse 3.
It's just further down.
Yep. Matthew 13, verse 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched and became, because they had no roots, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear.
All right. Hold on a second, guys. Give me a second.
She's like, you better get off right now. Right now.
I don't know. Trot looked up like that was the Lord for real. You know, the thing about I'm looking at the fact that in verse number 6 over there in John 15, how the men gather, these guys are tossed into the fire, they are burnt. But when you see in verse 2, you got the branches that are in him, but they are not bearing fruit. So when it say he takes them away, it doesn't say they are burnt, or like it doesn't say that, even though it says they are taken away. I just think that the language here should not say taken away. I think it should be a better description there, but I don't think it refers to them being taken out. You know what I'm saying? because they are in him, they're just not producing. What do you mean giving grace? I said what I said.
What'd you say? What happened?
You two got a rivalry going on.
I was saying how well you back now. I'm gonna let you speak to it. I just think that to say they were taken away, but they are in him.
Who's got a rivalry going? Jordan.
Well, giving grace,
giving
always
grace
just talking.
and amazing.
She always just got something to say.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. We'll move on from that. I just didn't know what y'all were talking about. Okay. All right. So we got the wayside. Okay. We got stony ground, right? And it says it has no roots. And what else does it say about stony ground? I want to make sure everybody.
Change the live goal try.
Okay. Somebody read that.
The stony ground, it says, but other fell into, sorry. The stony ground, they're just right there. Dang, where'd it go? Never mind.
Somebody find it.
Some fell on stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no roots, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell on good ground. Some brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear.
All right, so now let's go to Jesus. Let's go to Jesus, and Jesus is going to describe all of these. So somebody find that.
Amen. Verse 10.
All right, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. I did something wrong. Okay. Right there. There we go. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18, hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and understands it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receiveth seed by the wayside. But he that receiveth the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy he receiveth it. Yet he have not root in himself, but doeth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, and by offense, and by and by he is offended. He also that receiveth seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word out, and he has become unfruitful.
All right, right there.
But
Hold on. Okay, it says cares of this world, and what after that?
Deceitfulness of riches.
Okay, what else?
They choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful.
All right.
But he that receiveth seed into the good ground.
No, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. I ran out of room, so I gotta just give me a second. All right, so back to the thorny one. It says cares of this world, deceitfulness of riches, and what after deceitfulness of riches?
They choke the word.
All right.
And he becomes unfruitful.
Right. Chokes. Unfruitful. All right, so let me do this. All right, now and go to the good ground, even though we don't have to.
But he that receiveth seed into the good ground, he is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30.
All right, 30, 60. 100. Okay, so you got three things that are being described to us in 1 through 10. John 15, 1 through 10. Verse 2, there's no fruit, he takes away. There's purge, they get more. So 100%, we can point the good ground to the ones that are purged and bring more fruit, right?
Right.
All right, so let me get this. So I'm going to put right here, and I'm going to put right here. All right, so which one of these, the wayside, stony, or thorn, which one of these is the first one? There's no fruit, he takes it away.
That's the thorny ground.
No, I'm saying in John 15, 1 through 3, you have two that he talks about in verse 2, and you have one that he talks about in verse 6. So you have, in verse 2, you got A and B. So we've already put B with the good ground, because B says in 1 John chapter 15, verse 2, talking about the B branch, not the A branch, because there's two.
The A branch is the wayside.
Okay, but I'm saying the B branch, it says 30, 60, 100 fold. It's talking about more fruit. Well, in the parable of the sower, the good ground is the 30, 60, 100 fold. So we've already found one branch. So let's look at the other two branches. So verse 2, it says no fruit, he takes it away. So out of the wayside, the stony ground, and the thorn, which one of those is taken away?
That's the wayside.
That's the wayside. That's why it says the fowl of the air come. That's talking about the men of this world. But it's pointing to Satan. Like the scribe and the Pharisees, Jesus said, your father is Satan, right?
Facts, yeah.
Okay, so if the scribes and the Pharisees, if Jesus told them your father is Satan, they are the fowl of the air. It's them. But it ain't just them. It's all men that are in the fish in the sea that won't let Jesus catch them with the net. You understand? You can't catch them. They're of this world. So let's go back to, I don't know why I can't do this.
Why does it say, why does it signify that the branch is in me, though?
Do what?
Like, why in verse 2 is it saying every branch in me? Like, why is it already saying the branch is in him?
Why does it already say that the branches are in him?
Yeah, because the falling away, they didn't even receive it. So to me, the wayside.
All right, hold on. Are you talking about, because you're talking about verse 2, the A branch, no fruit, he takes away?
Yeah.
Okay, then hold on. If that's a stumbling block, then let's move on. We'll get back to that one. So let's go to verse 6. It says, the branch not in him, men gather. So which one is this? Wayside, stony, or thorn?
That's a thorn.
Anybody else?
Or stony. That's a stony.
How do we know? What is making us believe this? So let's go back to verse 6.
Because it said he's cast away as a branch.
No, let's go.
Withered.
Hold on. Let's go. All right, let's just go there and read verse 6.
In John 15:6 says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned.
Okay, it says withered. What does that mean? Right. Withered. What does that mean?
Kind of like a dry dead.
Okay, all right. So let's go back to the hearts. When Jesus is describing, which one of these does he describe as the sun comes and it withers away?
I want to say that's the rough, stony soil, but I'm not.
Well, let's not say nothing. Let's find it and just read it. Let us not say nothing.
It's the stony, in verse 5, it's the stony heart.
Read it. No, read it.
Verse 5, some fell among stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away.
Right there. They withered away. Verse 6 says, so stony heart tells us that it becomes withered. So let's go back to verse 6 and read it again. So John 15:6. Somebody read it.
John 15 says,
go ahead.
Says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned.
Okay, so when Jesus is talking about the stony ground, he says they hear it with great joy. Let me ask you this. Is the stony ground good ground?
No.
No. So they're not in him. Period. The only ground that is of Christ, that a person is saved, is the good ground. So if anybody is thinking that the wayside you're saved, stony ground you're saved, no. I don't know what lie has crept in. No. The wayside, the seed didn't even get there. The stony ground, it says because of persecution, they get offended because of the word and they run off like Peter did. Jesus, being the word, he offended Peter. They said, hey, aren't you his disciple? Heck no. Boom. That's what he did, that attitude. But remember, anytime you look at what Peter was doing and you don't put two and two together, that he did not have the Holy Spirit yet. When he got the Holy Spirit, was Peter scared then?
Not at all.
No, he stood up and freaking preached a sermon that saved 3,000 people. He was no longer afraid. There was no fear. He wasn't in hiding anymore. You see the difference between the man and the man that has the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. That's why Jesus said the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But we're going to overpower that. You're going to have the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. But before that happened, he was afraid and hiding all the time. So the stony heart is, which one did we just, let's see, verse 6, correct? John 15:6. Can we agree that John 15:6 and a stony heart is talking about the same soil? Soil, listen to the words I'm using. Okay. No, we can't agree on that.
I think it's the same.
All right, because verse 6 says the branch is not in him. Ain't that what it says? So is the branch in him or not?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No. So if the branch is not in him, it's in stony ground. How do we know that? Because tribulation, persecuted, he gets offended. Those kind of people are still in the sea. They're still of this world. That's why men gather them. You have two kinds of men in the Bible. You have men who are not saved. They bury the men that are not saved. They burn them. They bury each other. And then you got men that are saved, and we are fishers of men that's in the sea, and we catch them with nets, not with hooks. All right, so check it out. We got one more left. The A that is in verse 2. Somebody read verse 2, the beginning of it.
Every branch in me. Go ahead, brother. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away.
Is that all it says about the branch that bears no fruit?
Yep.
He taketh away. So is verse 2a and verse 2b the same branch, or are they two different branches?
They're different.
How do we know?
One bears fruit and is purged to bring forth more fruit.
Right.
It's producing.
Right. So one is taken away and one is purged. Is that the same thing? Hold on a second.
I think it's the same thing, right?
Okay, so now we're saying verse 2, we're saying there's not an A and B, we're saying it's the same branch.
Well, in order to get more fruit, you still have to take away.
Okay, well, that's why I'm saying this. We need to come into agreement. Is this the same branch? Is taking a whole branch away and purging a branch, is that the same thing? So do we not know what purge? Who doesn't know what purging means? Nobody knows what purging means. If you purge
Who doesn't? You said who doesn't know what purging is?
Well, who does? Who does? Who doesn't? And I don't hear nobody saying nothing. What does purge mean?
Well, to purge means to prune it to take away.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So we're either going to say that in verse 2, we're either going to say it's the same branch or it's not. So we can't say that there's two branches if it's even one branch. So I'm asking everybody. Is this the same branch? That's why I'm going through this parable with you, so we can put the branches where they belong, because it's not hard. It's not. It's actually quite simple. So somebody look up, because look, we already got verse 2b done, verse 6 done. So we got the stony ground and the good ground given to a proper branch here. So now we got to figure out in verse 2 where it says that this branch has no fruit and he takes it away. Is it saying it's taking away the entire branch, or is that branch being pruned?
It's being pruned.
All right, so in verse 2, it says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth, that it may bring forth fruit. So when Jesus said, for those that have, more will be given to them, but those that don't have, what they do have, it'll be taken away. Ain't that what it says?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, so what's the problem?
You know what?
What?
Listen. Okay, so is it possible here that, like I'm saying, I think take away is not a good language right here. I'm thinking that this means he grafts it in. I think he grabbed the one that don't bear. I think he grafts it into the good one. He repairs it. I don't see him taking it away as like to cut the whole thing off.
All right, but we only can say what it says though, right? So look, it says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. So the thing is called a branch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it says he taketh away, is he taking away the whole branch or not?
I know it say that, but I don't think that's what it's saying.
Well, we got to come into. I know what it's saying. I know what it's saying, but we can't move on until we come into agreement on what it's saying. So look, so somebody go look this up. It says, go look it up in the Greek. It says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. That phrase, taketh away. I need someone to go look that up in the Greek.
Somebody looking it up.
I can, if someone give me the verse where we're at.
John 15, verse 2, the two words, taketh away. What the heck?
I got it if you don't, Jennifer.
Go ahead, sis.
All right, so G142 taketh away, it says to raise up, elevate, lift up, raise from the ground, take up stones, raise upwards, elevate, lift up, draw up.
Okay, are you looking at the word taketh or the word away? Or is it one phrase?
There was one.
Huh?
Let me check again. It looked like it was one.
One
phrase.
What did it say it meant?
There's a lot for it. It means a lot of things.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to pick. We're gonna have to pick something that it actually means. We can't just say it means a lot. So what does it mean?
The proper phrase would mean that he props it up.
All right.
I think that's the proper phrase. He props it up. He repairs it. He don't.
All right, watch. Just watch. Watch. All right. So the second part, he says, and every branch that beareth fruit. So the first branch don't bear fruit, right?
Right.
Okay. It has no fruit, but it's called a branch. Then he says, and every branch that bears fruit. So are they the same branch?
No.
No. He talks about one branch and he talks about another branch. So if we can't agree whether it is or is not the same branch, we can't move forward. Is this the same branch or not? So in verse 2, is it one branch or is it two different branches? Amazing.
It's two different branches.
All right,
It's
so
two different branches.
All right, hold on. Let's not move away from that. It is two different branches. Now we have to look at how both of these branches are treated. And we got to use the rest of the Bible. So here's the problem. I say this all the time. If you compartmentalize a story away from the rest of the Bible, you'll never figure it out. It'll never happen. So let's look at a bunch of things that the Bible uses to help us understand what these things are. I gave one. One is the parable of the sower. The parable of the sower helps us see that these are different branches. They're not the same branches. That's one. Another thing is the Bible says that he makes good and he makes evil, right?
Right.
Okay. And I've explained this a bunch of times. How does he make things evil? How? I've explained this so many times how he does it.
Well, he can leave it to yourself. That's for one.
Hands it over to the reprobate mind.
Right. He gives it over. How does he give it over? How? Where are you that he's able to give you over? Where are you at?
In darkness.
No. No. No.
His presence.
Okay, you're in his presence. If he's able to give you over to evil, you have to be there with him. Yes or no? Or are you already evil?
Yeah. Yeah, because the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was in the midst of the garden.
Right. You cannot compartmentalize scripture. You can't look at John 15, 2 and say, man, I can't figure this out. You're never going to. It's never going to happen. You have to use the entirety of it's here a little, there a little. You got to go back way over there and go back way over there. So watch. The Bible says that he makes everything that's good and he makes everything that's evil. He says, I do all these things. He does it. So if he does it, how does he do it? The Bible even explains how. He gives you over to a reprobate mind. In order for him to give you over, you have to be right there, bro. Period. So
that goes with being blotted out because you were supposed to be in there.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in there. That's why he says that he doesn't want anyone to do what? But rather all
perish.
Right. He doesn't want you to perish. If he doesn't want you to perish, you have to be right there, bro.
Right.
But if you're not bearing fruit, Even though you're right there, you're not of him. Jesus and the scribes, the wheat and the tares were talking to one another. And he said, you're not of my Father. You're here, but you're not of my Father, my friend. The wheat and the tares are all together, and your job is to figure out which one's in good ground, which one's in bad ground. So when we see this and we go, what? But he's grafted in. He's in him. And yeah, in the sense that you're there, that he hasn't cut you off yet, bro. He hasn't cut you off yet. But once someone is reprobate, he gives them over to the reprobate mind. Let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead bury the dead then. So, verse 2, the A branch says, they have no fruit, none. The Bible said you will know them by their fruits. It's talking about spiritual fruit. If this says it has no fruit, then how do you know them by their fruits? Shouldn't it have bad fruit? It can't have bad fruit yet. Because God ain't cut them off yet. Can't have bad fruit. God is still right there. But they have no fruit, my friend. None.
So how can you determine?
Easy.
They don't have no
the same. Well, okay, there you go. So you're saying that you have to determine the fruit by sin, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, I've been saying no. I say this all the time. That is wrong. If they don't have the fruit of God, if they do not have the fruit of God, we are looking at the heart. You don't look at sin. We are not sin conscious.
Right.
How you determine is you either can see Jesus or you can't. You don't look for sin. That's a lie. Misunderstanding these things, a person is still like, no offense, and I rarely do this, but Miss Jean's lie, got him, get him, or whatever his name is, he doesn't look at the heart. He looks at he's looking for sin. No, sir. And I never bring that dude's name up. I'm just bringing him up because I know you hang out over there. But he is looking for sin. He's not looking at the heart. It's a completely opposite of what the Bible shows. I'm showing you what it shows. The entire Bible. It's not about that. It's about, is Christ in them? Are they a watcher? Can they properly see? If they can't, then they don't have fruit. They don't have it. They don't have it. You tell someone who keeps talking about being sin conscious and under the law, tell them to talk about Jesus nonstop for an hour. They can't do it. Why? The fruit's not there. They don't have the fruit of the Spirit. Do you understand? They don't have the fruit of the Spirit. A person that has the fruit in the Spirit will sound like Solomon, sound like Moses, not according to the law, but what they wrote down, what they understood. And I'm talking about trees and the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea. They'll always be talking about these things. That's where wisdom's at. When they're talking about the Mosaic law and things you're supposed to be doing, where's the fruit of the Spirit? Where? The stony heart cannot bear fruits of the Spirit. So, again, verse 2. A, the first... What?
Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
This goes back to the fruit of the lips being the words. And the tree of life has fruit, and the other tree has fruit. Well, the tree of life doesn't talk about sin. It talks about Christ. Right there you can see it. If it's not contesting of Christ, it's not the right fruit. And the fact that someone does produce the right fruit is proof that they're not cut off. They're not the bad tree.
Oh man, what did I do? All right, so let's go back. John 15, verse 2, talking about the A branch, the first branch. It says that it has no fruit, so it's taken away. It's hooked up to Christ right now, guys. He says, I'm the vine and you are the branches. If you don't have no fruit, it's talking about fruit of him. His fruit, not bad fruit, sin. That's not what it's talking about. His fruit. You have no fruit. You understand? Two sights, two pleasant sights. The only fruit he's looking for is pleasant fruit that he can eat from. So, just to make it simple, because I want to make it complicated, but no, you know what? I'm going to make it complicated. At this point, this is crazy. Look, so you got the wayside, the stony ground, the thorn ground, and the good ground. According to these four, which one is the branch that bears no fruit is taken away? Which one of these of the four soils is it referring to? What kind of branch is this?
Wayside.
That's a thorny. That's the thorny ground.
Okay, so I mean, it's got to be one of them. So if it's one of them, why? So whatever one you're going to choose, if you're going to say that this branch has no fruit, it's taken away, that belongs to this kind of ground, I need to hear why. Why does it belong to that ground?
Well, let me see. It's the let me see. He that receives.
Let me just say this: if you don't go in there and pay attention to the wording, you're not going to see it. It's in the wording. Slow down.
Well, verse 22 says, "He also that receiveth seed among thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful."
Okay, so what about it? What about what you read?
Well,
what are you saying?
This John 15 part A branch.
What about it?
He produces no fruit.
That's right. That's right. That's how we know, bro. Listen, that's how we know it's from the thorn. Talking about from the first Adam. The thorn in the garden from the first Adam. They become unfruitful. They're not of our father. They're of their father, Satan, the thorn. So the first branch is from the thorn, the thorny ground, unfruitful. And because of that, they're taken away. God says, Lord, he makes all things that are good and he makes the evil. Him. As soon as the choice has been made that they're not going to bear fruit, they're cut. They're cut and they're given to a reprobate mind. And now it was God made that decision. It was their choice not to bear fruit, but he's the final judgment, not decision. He makes the final judgment. So they are evil because he makes them evil. Not because from the ground, he bore them in their mother's womb just to be evil. No, they're not evil because they're with him, but he doesn't want any to perish. But if they choose to, he will give them over to their belly, just like he did the serpent, referring to Satan and sin. To the belly you may go, so to the belly they may go. But here, you won't talk to them in that way. You won't talk to them in belly, because right now we're talking to them as branches. But it is belly. To the belly you may go, and may you eat dust all the days of your life. Why? Because you're unfruitful. So, you got two branches in verse 2. You got a branch in verse 6. The first branch is the thorn, is the thorny ground. The second branch is the good ground. And in verse 6, the third branch is the stony ground. That is the parable behind John 15, 1 through 6, or actually 7, right? Because in 7,
6 is the stony.
What?
You said John 15:6 is the stony?
Yes, it's the stony.
All right, we'll get back.
So now let me ask, if there's 3 branches that we see here, but there's 4 soils, what soil have we not used?
Sorry, say
Give it
that
to me
again.
one more time, Trot. Say it again.
Guys, listen, this is going to be recorded on YouTube. Stop wasting time to take notes. Go back and watch it on YouTube. Okay?
No, I just flipped back to John.
Okay, listen to the question. Listen to the question I'm at. Listen, I understand some of you want to take notes, but what I'm telling you is you're still going to miss stuff because I'm not going to keep going back all the time. Y'all know I'm not. I don't. It's recorded on YouTube.
I take notes on the YouTube later. I'm not taking.
All right. Well, okay. Well, Christian, take notes later.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a little bit of work. That's why I was.
Okay, it's all right. You go back and watch it on YouTube. Okay. For those that can pay attention, let them keep going forward. All right. So, okay, I'm saying that when Jesus talks about the parable of the sower, there's 4. Which soil, have we not discussed regarding John 15?
The good soil.
No. The good soil is.
Well, that's bought me.
I'm just saying it's important too, though. I'm saying if we're talking about the branches that Jesus is referring to in John 15, 1 through 6 or 7. Matter of fact, let me read 7. Fire, they will be burned. He says, if ye abide in me and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done to you. Right? I'm just reading that last part. It just, because he's talking about these branches. But how come in John 15, 1 through 20, why is it like, quote unquote, the wayside? Why is there not a branch that we would be able to put together for the wayside?
Because the gospel is still going forth.
Yeah, we could say that. That ain't wrong. All right, so let's go back to the parable of the sower real quick. And let's go back to where Jesus is explaining the wayside. First, he says a sower goes out to sow seed, and some land on the wayside, and the fowls of the air come and eat it. So let's go where Jesus is talking about. Because he asked them, "Do y'all understand this parable?" And they say no. He said, "Well, if you don't understand this parable, how then shall you know all other parables?" And he says, "This is the wayside," and he explains it. So let's go back. Let's go back there. Somebody read it.
Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When any one of you heareth the word of the kingdom, and understand it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside.
All right. Is that all he says about the wayside? Is that it?
Yes.
All right. Let me go to this real quick. Hold on. Why is that so, bro? My bad. That's why. Give me a second. Man, these pencils are awesome, but if you double click it wrong. All right, so he says, so when he describes the wayside, I'm sorry, go slow again, amazing. I had to mess with my pen.
When any one of you heareth the word of the kingdom and understand it not.
All right, right there. All right, right there. He says, hold on. Okay. He says, understand it not is what he says. Understand it not. So he's saying there's obviously going to be people that don't understand. All right, keep going.
Then comes the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart.
All right, so let me do this.
This is he that receives seed.
All right, then come the wicked one. When does the wicked one come?
After the word is sown.
No, after it is shown that the person doesn't understand. Like, go back to it.
Right.
I'm going over this slow on purpose. So do it again. What does it say? Just start over where you were at.
When any one of you hear the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then comes the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart.
Right. So it says that the wicked one comes. That's why it says then comes the wicked one. So the wicked one comes when a person doesn't understand the kingdom. The word of the kingdom, meaning it's talking about when Jesus is speaking in quote unquote parables, meaning if it's a parable to you, then the wicked one can come. Just like the wicked one was able to come to the scribes and the Pharisees and steal the word because it was a parable to them. Y'all with me?
Yeah. Same as Eve.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's see. Sometimes it's not to understand it, just to let it be. No, that's a lie. I don't know who taught you that. No, Jesus, that's not what Jesus said. When the scribes, when the disciples did not understand the parable of the sower, Jesus didn't say, let it be. That's not what he said. He said, know you not this parable? How then shall you know all the other parables? And he says, know ye the parable of the sower. He says to know it. He doesn't say to tell people. Sometimes it's not to understand, it's just to let it be. That's not what Jesus said. So no offense, Xenia. I don't know who taught you that. That's a lie. So Jesus was not happy when they did not understand what he was saying. He wasn't happy. He didn't hold their hand, sing kumbaya, and say it's okay. No, it's not okay. It is our job to understand. Now, if there's someone that doesn't want to understand, then you don't waste your time. You go to someone that does. So if you're trying to say don't force people to learn, but then again, if that's what you were saying, you would have said that. You're saying sometimes it's not to understand. That's a lie. It's there to be understood. Period. But it says you hear the word, and there's some that understand it not, then comes the wicked one. Then comes the wicked one. And he comes to do what? How does it explain it? Amazing.
And he catcheth away the word which was sown in his heart.
Yeah. So this word, the seed, is trying to get into this person's heart, but the fowl of the air. Matter of fact, go to where Jesus is explaining that this is the fowl of the air. So go back to where Jesus is explaining. He said these are the meaning of the soils. He says the wayside, where he's explaining. He's given that was it.
Yeah.
No, he should have said, "Where's the fowl of the air at?" I didn't hear that.
Well, let me go to
in verse 19.
Go ahead.
When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside.
No, bro. No, where's the fowl of the?
I'll go to verse 3.
Yeah, no. Y'all need to go. Y'all need to go to another book. Y'all need to go to another book then. Okay, because listen. Let me say this. Let me say this because it takes all of them to harmonize. So all of them show you the entirety. Go ahead.
Go to Mark 13. Now, I'm gonna read this. And when he sowed some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up.
No, that's him. No. I'm not talking about when he's given the parable. I'm saying when he's explaining what the parable means.
Yeah, that's verse 19.
Go to another book. I think y'all are misunderstanding what I'm saying. Go to another book.
Let me go to Mark. I think it's in Mark 13 as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when it comes to the parable of the sower, you need to get all of them right in front of your face. I don't care if you got to write them all down, put all of them on. That's what I had to do. I got every one of them. I wrote them all down on one sheet of paper sideways, and so I can see all of it that's there. It's not all there in one book.
The explanations of Mark, Matthew, and Luke are all staying the wayside.
Oh my God, dude. So nobody understands what I'm saying. This is wild.
Oh, I'm looking.
Well,
This is wild.
okay, so Matthew 13:10 says this. It's the explanation. And it says, and the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But
No,
whosoever hath
All right,
not,
hold on, guys. Let me just read it. Okay, look, go to Mark 4.
Luke 8:5.
No, it's okay. Listen, I'm going to read it myself. Okay, go to Mark 4.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it for God's sakes. Look, go to Mark 4, and it says, this is Mark 4:13, and he said unto them, Know ye not this parable? So he already gave the parable. I'm not trying to hear the parable again and again. I'm trying to hear when he explains it. So he says, Know ye not this parable? How then will you know all parables? He's saying if you don't understand this parable, you're not going to understand all the other parables. So John 15, those branches are not understood unless you understand this parable right here. Period. It's not going to happen. All parables. I'm talking about parables that it says it's a parable and parables that it doesn't say it's a parable. Okay? Because there's a lot of them. So it says, he says, how then will you know all these parables? He says, the sower soweth the word. 15. This is Mark 4:15. And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown, but when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that it was sown in their hearts. And he's talking about Satan being the fowl of the air. And he says, and these are likewise which are sown on the stony ground. But the point that I'm trying to get at is right here where he says, Know you not this parable? How then will you know all parables? So doesn't he make it clear that if you do not know the parable of the sower, you're not going to understand no other parable? Ain't that what he says right there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Rosetta. So that's that's the Rosetta Stone. And the fact that he calls the fowl of the air Satan is important. Very important. All right, that's a twofer for you right there. Okay, where are we at? Jordan?
You want to stay in Mark or you going back to Matthew?
No, it don't
John?
matter. It don't matter. I just wanted to point out those two things that's I just couldn't remember what book it was in. It's in Mark.
No, I was looking for the words, the fowl of the air, and the explanation. That's why I didn't find it.
That's all right, but I just wanted people to see it that he calls the fowl of the air Satan. That's what he's calling the fowl of the air.
Right.
But that's why Jesus told the scribe and the Pharisees, your father is Satan. He's saying because you think like him, you see like him, you hear like him. If you were of my father, you would know who I was. This is not talking about sin, for God's sakes. These people that say, oh, see, they were sinners. No, bro. No, it's talking about a sight, the way you see, the way you hear. That's why Solomon, the wisest man in the Bible, and it says, and Solomon talked about, out of all the freaking things in the world that this man could have talked about, it says he talked about trees and fowls of the air and fish of the sea. Or wake up. What do you think he's talking about? Come on, man. Same thing Jesus is talking about. Jesus is talking about vines and branches and trees. Jesus is talking about vines, branches, trees. He's talking about fowls of the air. Come on. That's what we're talking about. What are you saying?
That branch was never in him either, Trot.
Huh?
That branch was never in him either then.
What?
If it never brought forth fruit, it never was in him.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need you to elaborate. What? What book, chapter, and verse? What book, chapter, and verse are you talking about?
John 15.
All right.
John 15, verse 2, that first branch.
Okay.
It never was in him.
Well, no, it was in him, but it wasn't bearing fruit. Meaning, hold on. Time out. Hold on. it's not cast in the fire yet. It still has a chance. Can we agree on that at least? Okay. It's hold on. All right. So again, it's not bearing the fruit of Christ, but it was there. Watch this. You have the wheat and the tares. Are they not growing together?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the same thing. So you got branches that are bearing fruit, the wheat, and you got branches that are tares. They're not bearing wheat. But do you pull them up together or wait for them to grow?
Wait.
You wait. That's why you have a branch that's not bearing fruit, but they're all growing. It's the wheat and the tares. It's the same thing. And he's waiting.
It's the thing, though.
What?
This is what I'm trying to point out here. See, because even in the branch of John 15:6, right?
Mm-hmm.
It said, if a man abide not in me. So is that saying that he was in him, but he didn't abide, or he never was?
All right, let's go. All right. Don't forget. Yeah, don't forget what you're bringing up. Let's go to the wheat and tares. Let's go. Let's go to the wheat and tares. Somebody pull it up.
Oh, Jesus, got to get some doggone lightness.
Somebody get there and read it. Let me know when you're there, whoever.
Let me see. Matthew. What is that, 13? Let me see. Matthew 13. Gotta get some more light in this dog. Matthew 13. Therefore I speak to you parables, God, not 24. Where's another parable? Yeah, like Matthew chapter 13, starting at verse 24.
All right.
And another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that sowed good seed in his field. And while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said, Sir, did you not sow good seed in the field? From where then cometh these tares? And he said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, No. That's while you gather up the tares, you also bring the wheat with them. Let them go together until the harvest, and the time of the harvest. And I will say to the reapers, Gather ye therefore first the tares, and bind them up in bundles, and burn them.
Right.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
Okay, so show me how this is different than the branches in John 15. It's the same thing. You see it or no?
As far
it's not.
As far as the tares,
Benny, it's not. It's not the same. Benny, it's not the same. What do you mean it's not? Oh, I'm sorry, Benny. You might be talking to somebody else. My bad. Oh, it's not different. Yeah. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the way I asked it. I apologize. What I'm saying is it's the same thing. Let me just make it more simple. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do kind of double, triple question. It's the same thing. So if it's the same thing, why are we confused that there's this vine, and in this vine there are branches that give fruit and there's branches that don't give fruit? Is it confusing y'all because the branch is in the vine? Is that what's confusing? Show me where the issue is, because I don't see the issue at all. Where's the issue? You know what I think it is? Hold on a second. Oh, I think it is y'all still having arguments with people about you can lose salvation. Is that Jordan? Is that what the issue is, or what? What's
Why
this?
Why are you asking me?
because you keep saying, but he's in the vine. He's in the vine. Like if you're confused about why the branch is in the vine.
No, I get it. I get it. It
okay.
goes back to the garden.
Okay, so who's confused about why the branch is in Christ but yet getting cut off? Like if somehow it's saved because it's in the vine. I'm trying to see where the
hey, friendly fire.
All right, amazing. Then, is there an issue with the fact that the branch is in the vine, and that looks like it's saved, or what?
Yeah, that's the part right there.
Okay.
But the thing is,
yeah,
it said understand. Now, when you went back to where were we at? Mark, Matthew, and he explained that the seed comes, but they understand it not. So how in the world can you bear fruit to something you don't understand?
Okay, are you talking about the branches?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we were in Matthew, when it says, hear ye there in verse 18, hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is the one which receives seed among the wayside.
Okay, but what does that got to do with the branches?
And that's the branch. That's the branch, because it's saying that it was in him.
Yeah. He said, hold on.
It does help.
Hold on. God says that he doesn't want none to perish, right?
Right.
Okay. So the branch that's in him, he wants that branch to bear fruit. If it's not bearing fruit, he's not of him, regardless if he's in him or not. You have to bear fruit. So I think the misunderstanding is the fact that it's in him, we're making it sound like he is of him. No, he's only of him if he's bearing fruit, period. Again, the wheat and the tares. That's why he says, let them grow up. Again, let the tree grow so we can tell what branches belong here. Do you understand? The tree has to mature to the point that it's supposed to be bearing fruit. So when it says, you'll know them by their fruit, if we were to watch a tree grow and someone told me, hey, some of those branches are not going to bear fruit, do you want me to rip up the tree? No. Wait until the time that the fruit comes, because the ones that don't bear fruit, we're going to cut them off. Who doesn't understand that? That's why they're there, because we're waiting for it to harvest to come. We're waiting so we can see which ones get cut off. The fruit that's on this tree is not sin. You'll know them by their fruits. Oh, man, you're sinning, bro. The Bible said we'll know them. That's a lie. I don't know who taught this. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. What we're seeing in the Bible is God is only looking for his fruit. That's all he's looking for. Why? Because he looks at the heart. That's how we're supposed to come again to other people. We're looking at the heart. That's what we're looking at. We're not looking for sin, for God's sakes. How is this still an issue? The tree, you're leaving the tree alone. It's a baby tree. We're leaving it alone. Why? So we can see which one bears fruit and which one doesn't. What fruit? The fruit of the Spirit, for God's sakes. That's all we're looking for. That's all we want to see. We just want to see if this tree, which branches are going to bear fruit of the Spirit. that tree is not going to bear fruit of sin. It's going to be dead. Do you understand? It's going to be dead. It's not going to have no fruit if it's not of the vine. It may be attached to the vine, but it doesn't matter if it's attached to the vine or not. It doesn't matter. Does it bear fruit? No. Then there you go. It may look like it's part of the tree, but it doesn't bear fruit. So if it doesn't bear fruit, it doesn't belong here. Yuck. You get cut off and thrown into the fire. You're not from here.
Amen.
But we get confused because we're like, well, but we get confused because it says it's attached to it. What does that matter? If it's attached to it, it's kind of like right now in the world. You'll have people say, God is so evil. Why? He killed everybody in Sodom and Gomorrah. They were not of him. If they were, they would have bore fruit. What's so hard about this? We see them as regular humans. It literally sounds like Jenna side of the road. Jenna side of the road. People see this as that. No, bro. No. They were burnt up. The Bible says that fire and brimstone came down. The branches were burnt up because they were not of him. But yet they're all here with all of us, true or not? Are they not all? When the man said when Jesus was walking this earth, he healed the man. He said, "What do you see?" "I see man as trees." Of course you do. Because we're trees. He sees right. If he sees man as trees, we're supposed to see man as trees. But we're not looking for sin. We're looking for the fruit of the Spirit. That's what we're looking for. If the fruit of the Spirit is not there, the fruit of the Spirit is not pointing to opposite of sin. It's like, oh, I don't know. The Bible said you'll know them by their fruits. Well, it seems like people don't know what the heck they're looking for. So you get knuckleheads that freaking slither their way into lives talking about, oh, you'll know them by their fruits. Do you still sin? Bro, that's not what it's telling you to look for. It's telling you to look for the fruits of the Spirit. And if you don't have the fruits of the Spirit, and you know who don't have the fruits of the Spirit? You know who? Those that don't talk about the fruits of the Spirit. They talk about sin. You know why? Because they're dead. Something is wrong. You should be able to talk about Jesus nonstop, but all you do is talk about sin and repentance and confession of sin and the law. That's all they talk. The Bible talks to the scribes and the Pharisees, say whitewashed tombs. They did not know how to talk about Jesus because it's not in them. They do not know how to talk about him. It's not in them, bro. If it was rooted deep in them, that's all they would talk about would be Jesus. They're liars. They're the branch that if they ain't careful, they're going to get cut off. Them, they're going to get cut off. They're dead. Don't you understand? They think they're hooked up to this tree rightfully. No, you're not, bro. If all you're talking about is Moses' law, and then you try to trick everybody by saying, he says, obey his commandments. He says, obey his commands, my friend. You're a whitewashed tomb. You're dead inside. If you had the fruits of the Spirit, it's all we would see. That's all we would hear. That'd be the only thing coming out of your mouth. But yet the only thing coming out of your mouth is adversary talk. You're the adversary. You sound like Satan, your father. You do. Whoever you are. What do you say? Got him fired. Amazing. Y'all blame amazing. It's amazing. Fuck, got me fired. I'm telling you, John 15, that was the bee's knees. Don't bring up John 15 to me, because trust me, you don't want me to talk about John 15. I'll be stepping on some toes. Now we're getting into how do you know if it's once saved, always saved? How do you know? How do you know if it's water baptism? How do you know, man? When you understand this right here, none of that crap matters anymore. Now you know. Now you know. Now you even know why they were even doing it back then. You get it. You 100% get it. He just needs to see the fruit of the Spirit. You need to be a watchman. And a watchman is just looking for Christ. That's all. A watchman's not looking for sin. A watchman doesn't go around talking to Christians who are already saved. Do you still sin? Oh, my God. Let it be far from me. Fools listen to this nonsense. That's foolish. You're already saved, and you let someone come talk to you about the Mosaic law and about Jesus to saying, obey his commandments, obey his commandments. Be ye perfect as he is perfect. Be you perfect. Oh, my God, bro. Talking about misunderstanding scripture, running away from Paul and trying to fool everybody. Isn't it better to listen to Jesus? Are you a Jew? No. All right, then. Then you listen to Paul. You were a Gentile. What are you talking about? Nah, bro. Nah. Then, hey, don't pinch and wake me up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Foolery. That's foolishness. That's not what these scriptures are telling us here in 15. It's not all of a sudden. It ain't talking about none of that. He said, I'm the vine, ye are the branches, either got fruit or you don't. This ain't talking about sin and commandments. It ain't talking about none of that. It's talking about how you're going to be able to tell. And it ain't talking about sin. He said that he's the vine and he don't have sin. He don't have sin. And he said, if you abide in me, you should have my fruit. These are fruits of the Spirit. These are not fruits of sin. But yet there's other branches there. They don't even have fruit. So how could that be? How could that be the fruit? You'll know them by their fruit. They have none. There is no other fruit. You either have fruit of the Spirit or there is no fruit. Meaning you're a dead branch. There's nothing there. When Jesus walked up to the fig tree, was there fruit on it or not? Somebody, was there fruit on that fig tree?
No.
No. He didn't look at it and say, oh, you got bad fruit. And they're like, hold on a second. Jesus said, if the tree is good, the fruit is good. If the tree is bad, the fruit is bad. That's exactly what he said. But notice, again, what is bad fruit? No fruit at all. That's what bad fruit is. Dead limb, dead tree. He went to the fig tree, no fruit. None. Bad fruit, guys, is no fruit. That's what bad fruit is. That means the limb is bad. It has to go. That branch doesn't get pruned. The only one that gets pruned is the one that just has a little bit of fruit. Just a little. If you have a seed, just a little seed. Just a little. Little fruit. Little seed. Lord have mercy. Yes, slothful servant. Yes, slothful and fat Eglon. Get the heck out of here. I'm going to bring the sword. That's right. Holding on by a thread.
It's like when people get mad at God taking out all these people in the Old Testament. They're like, if he's loving, how could he do that? It's like, are you going to get mad at a gardener for pulling weeds out of his garden?
Yeah.
Because they're going to harm his plants. Like, the only thing sustaining life is that he pulls them out.
That's right. That's it. Everybody give Amazing a thumbs up. Amazing's a 50-50. He going to come in and make fun, or he going to come in and say, man, I just got something I've been thinking about. And it just so happens to be where I'm like, oh, shoot. I already know it's
he's going to be like, let me tell you, brother, listen here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Amazing, you there or what? Where you at? He done ran off.
I'd never leave you nor forsake you, brother.
Wait a minute, brother.
I'll never leave you nor forsake you, boy. Hey, all this because he said, hey, bro, I got to tell you, I was listening to one of the lives and y'all were talking about John and Mary at the cross. And I said, it looks like today is going to be a heart conversation. And he's like, but what about the branch? John 15. What about it? He's like, well, there's 3 branches there. I said, oh, yeah, that's it. We're going to talk about the heart today. We're going to talk, what the heck is that? Bouncy fruit. Now, let me say this.
Fruits. That's evidence.
That's evidence. That's why somebody, that was Danette, it was Danette Roberts.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, y'all want to talk about
heresy hunters and shadow watchers, you can't ignore that. You saw fruit. That's
it. They saw fruit, man. Yeah. Something else I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. You know what? That's why I need to start. I keep forgetting to take certain notes down. All right, so just to recap.
There's a YouTube, and you can go take notes after the live. We're trying to get somewhere, sir.
Yeah, who was that? Who are you talking about?
You're like, oh, I forgot to take notes, and I'm like, well, that's why there's a YouTube.
Yeah.
We're getting somewhere, sir.
Yeah, well, I'm saying a note while we're going. I was telling myself, hey, I need to write this down, but I didn't. That's all right. Yeah, so to recap, all right, so who's going to recap this, man? Who's got it? What's the recap here? A quick fumble towards recovery. I need a title for this live. Who's creative? Because all I'm going to put is...
3 branches of John 15.
We can... All right, let me see if that's too long.
Oh, yeah, I'm watching them giving grace.
Watching who?
Looking for the sin.
Well, what are you talking about?
For the fruit, not the sin.
Hey, what if I just put Trinity branches, John 5? I'm kidding.
Just name it wheat and the tares.
Nah, all right, what if I put 3 branches, John 15? Somebody give me a more clever, the parable to understand. Fruit flies. What? What?
The branches, the sower, and the parables.
John Willington, would you say, Trot, the world needs to hear you? Oh, it will. Don't worry. Don't worry. It will. Anytime God brings out a truth, it starts off very small beginning because God has an order. First, the order is to get others to understand what it is that's being said, because when persecution comes, they won't be so quick to run away and flee. So don't worry. It will. I had a person tell me 2 or 3 days ago, I was with my little brother, and I was sharing some of this with this person. And, again, this person's probably been reading the Bible for about 35 years. And I know there's a couple of years where it was probably 5 hours a day. So there is a decent foundation that was there. But, life goes on, man. I hate to say it. Sometimes it's not easy to sit down for a lot of years and do a lot of hours. It's just not easy. But God will find someone that has the time. I'm telling you. He'll
Look
find.
What Taylor said.
Taylor.
Yeah.
What'd he say? Just tell me.
He said, "Don't tear me up."
Don't tear me up. Hey, that's actually a good. That's funny. Fruit or no fruit. That's not bad. Let me think about that one. Fruit or no fruit. How else can we say that?
I got one. That.
Two fruit
are
or
you
not
a fruitless
fruit?
branch? Question. Are you a fruitless branch? Or are you a fruitful branch?
Yeah, but the title can't be long. That's the thing. Like, if it gets too long, you won't be able to read the whole thing. So it's got to be like kind of short. I like fruit.
Branch.
I like fruit.
Root or no root.
I like fruit or no fruit. I like that, but I would still have to put
two fruit or not two fruit.
Fruitful versus
just
fruitful versus fruitless.
Try. It's just simply fruit or nah.
Fruit or nah?
He says or nah.
Hey, Revelator. Does anybody know? Does anybody know Revelator? Revelator said, "Are you still fruity?"
Bruh.
Are you still fruity? The good. Hey, somebody put the good, the bad, and the. Who is that? That's Eric. The good, the bad, the ugly fruits. Now that's funny. That's hilarious. I ain't seen that movie in forever. Tutti Frutti.
Pebbles or flesh flakes.
Somebody put Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy or something. Bryant, great study. Hey, Bryant, man, hey, God's amazing, man. That's why you keep coming back. The Bible makes it very clear. People go where they eat, man. People go where they eat. Now, if people don't like to eat and they just like to share philosophy, they don't go where they eat. They go where people like to hear philosophy. They don't go.
Those are the vegans.
The vegans. Are you the bad fruit spoiling the good fruit? Oh, man. Shadow fruit. That's pretty cool. Shadow fruit. Let me see.
There's food on the table. Trot will doggy paddle on top of it, eating it all up if you don't want it.
Well, that's a paragraph. I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can do that.
Oh, not for the video title.
You can type into Chat GPT. You can type in. You're like, hey, did a live on fruit versus no fruit. Give me a title.
Oh, hey, let me do it and see. Hey, hold on. Y'all wait. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what it says. Hold on.
Well, make sure you make it about the Bible because it's going to give them like, oh, mangoes and oranges. Well, what's better?
Let me see. I gave a sermon regarding branches that bear fruit and branches that do not bear fruit. What title should I give this sermon? Yeah, Lee, y'all gonna make me. Let me just take a picture of this darn thing. Let's see. Where's the camera? All right. All right, y'all hear me? Guys, y'all there?
I hear you, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me turn this around. Make this as
That's
big.
one bonus that YouTube gets, Trot, is that even though we can't see you on TikTok, when you go off and do that nonsense, we could still watch you on YouTube talking.
Oh yeah. Oh, but can y'all hear me on YouTube though?
No, I don't know.
Y'all should be able to, or I think y'all should. All right. So I asked it. This is what I said. I said I gave a sermon regarding branches that bear. It literally says barefoot, but I see the little correction. It says that bear fruit and branches that do not bear fruit. What titles should I give this sermon? All right. So here's the 10 titles. Y'all let me know which one you like. All right. So it says the fruitless and the fruitful. Second one is branches that remain. Third one is cut off or cultivated. Fourth one is bear or bearing. Okay. Oh, meaning bear like naked. Ooh, that's actually a good one. Bear or bearing. Probably not going to use it though, but that is a good one. Abide and abound. The vine, the branch, the verdict. Fruit that lasts. Proven by fruit. From branch to bearing or blessed. And then the last one is the pruning process. The only one I really like is bear or bearing, because it's pointing to like nakedness. Bear or bearing. All right, chat GPT, I give you a C for effort. Somebody put fruit of the loom. Now that's funny. That is funny. Bear or bearing. All right.
I think it would make more sense if it said, are you bear or bearing?
No, it doesn't. No, it can say bear or bearing, question mark. You have to have a question mark, though.
Mr. Miyagi put organic or GMO.
What is GMO? Oh, like what's in the food. Oh, organic or GMO? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. 1 and 4, Vakima. Let's see. 1 and 4. So the fruitless and the faithful, or bear. Yeah, I kind of like the bear or bearing. I'm not going to use either one of them though, because it's, I don't know. I don't like
Like,
none
I like
of them.
both, but I'm using none of them.
Yeah, I like a couple, but just not. It's just, I don't know. It's not. They're
It's
all
my
right.
birthday, but today's not going to be about me. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to put is John 15. You know what? I might just do that. 3 branches, John 15. I think I'll just put that on there. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Self-sustained or yeah. All right. Anybody got something they want to throw out?
Triune branches.
The what?
John 15, the triune branches.
Yeah, I know. That's what the Trinity of branches. I was saying that earlier. The triunity of branches. Yeah. All right. Anybody got anything, guys? I would love to stay on, but
Try.
Yeah.
And thank Jennifer for subscriptions today.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Was it Jennifer that did that? I saw at least 5 or more come across the screen.
Yeah, that was Jennifer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously, Jennifer, thank you for that. Anybody, guys, anytime y'all are like meeting a subscription goal or meeting the live goal of the day or whatever, I'm thankful every day. If I don't say it, forgive me. Show me some grace, because I'm not very good. I know I was paying a lot of attention whenever we were playing the game that we usually play, but I was telling everybody, like, right now, let's see, it says we're at League 4. And I just so y'all know, like, how did we not lose fragments? Because we had 2 shields. Like, after you get up at a certain rate, you get a shield, meaning it blocks you every day from not losing a fragment. We had 2, but we lost both of them. So it's possible today we could go back to B4 without, because I think we got 1 fragment. So tomorrow we might still be at B4, but we'll lose that 1 fragment, which means Tuesday or Wednesday for sure we're going to go back to B5. But I'm trying to tell y'all, guys, I'm telling you right now, don't worry about feeling obligated to keep us up there. I believe a lot of people, I'm telling you, a lot of people have come to our live because of that. But there is a cheaper option. I just think this option's a little expensive, okay? So Kelly, and I know you've heard me and Big talking about like a billboard. So we're going to kind of go that route, and then we'll see how that does. But man, the expensive route, I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about that, about the league thing, man. But if anybody says it doesn't work, they're lying. I've been looking at the statistics. It works, period. It does, but it's very expensive. So, yeah, no, Jennifer, I know I don't have to say anything, but I don't think it's wrong to every once in a while. So it's no big deal. John Willington, I want to help. What are you talking about, John? You want to help what? Or maybe you're talking to someone else. Or maybe okay, you could be talking about like how we're trying to push descaled content out. So, John, are you subscribed to the @Descaled Live? Are you subscribed to the Descaled YouTube channel? Or actually, you are? Okay, are you a team member? If you don't know what that is, you're probably not. If you say no. Rena, what's up? Rena, what's up, man? I ain't seen you in a bit. Or maybe you've been here and I missed it. And if that's the case, I'm sorry. I apologize.
He said yes.
Well, no, he said yes. He's a subscriber. I'm asking are you a team member? John, if you are a team member, can you put yes, I am a team member, so I know exactly. Oh, he wants to come up. Well, come on up, John. What's up, man? What's on your mind, buddy? John, you there?
John?
Is that a psych? Is psych? Maybe. John, for some reason you're not coming in, man. Just type in the chat. I don't know why it's not letting you up. I just checked my numbers. I mean, my numbers have been, to be honest with you, it's crazy. It has been storming. Dude, the sky's a bit dark, and yet my reception has been not immaculate, but for storm weather, it's actually been decent. I don't know, man. They're throwing me off.
Man, I could have sworn, Trot, you had your router outside and it was under an umbrella right now.
Well, I'm going to be on. Well, hold on. Let me tell you what I did do, and I haven't done this before. I have my router.
Oh, no.
Oh, is it router or modem? It's a modem, right? Or the internet modem?
Which part?
The thing you get Wi-Fi from.
There's a router and a modem.
No, the thing you get Wi-Fi from.
Oh, that's your router.
Well, whatever it's called. I have that thing. It's not just outside. I have it on a chair, like, because usually I keep it under the awning. I pretty much got that sucker, like, outside, bro. Like, I guarantee you people drove by like, what is that in the yard? It's like, it's pretty much in the yard, pretty much. I don't care. Oh, you know what else? Those people cut all those trees the other day, and I want to say this is the first live that we didn't have all. They didn't cut a lot of the trees, but they cut a lot of the branches. And I told them, if they ain't bearing fruit, cut those branches. They came out here, boy, and they ain't bear fruit, cut down. They did cut a lot of branches, though. I'm hoping that helped. Irvine. Oh, man. I don't know. Who was it that was trying to come up? I don't remember who. Oh, it was John. John, I don't know what happened, but you said something about I can help. I don't know what you were talking about, but one thing that does help is becoming a team member on YouTube. So if there's anybody here that is not a team member on YouTube and you want to see more descaled content being pushed out, please become a team member. It does help. We use those monies to push out content, and we're about to start putting descaled on billboards. So I'm just letting you know that that's going to happen, period. I'm not really sure how that just happened, but it did. Let's see. All right. Oh, man. What happened? Oh, I get it. I see what happened.
Hey, you know Christians are waiting to get the last words.
Nah, he ain't
Just
gonna get.
waiting.
He's not gonna
I
get
am
to.
not.
He's not gonna get to. I'm gonna drop him before I say bye, like I always do. So get your words out now,
Yep.
Christian.
I told you Jeremiah 16:19. Stick to it.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, bro. What's that supposed to mean, Christian?
So random. Always so random.
Random,
It's
bro.
not random. It was literally the last thing we talked about last week. He's like, "Do we have any more subjects?" And I said Jeremiah 16:19. He told me
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it
yeah.
times.
Can you do everybody a favor and maybe elaborate what you're talking about, sir?
Yeah, I asked you, is that verse specifically in reference to the Gentiles coming to Lord?
I'll tell you what. Write a synopsis over it, Christian, and go over it about 10 times. That way when you bring it back up, you can elaborate over it. Tammy, would you say billboards in Texas only? No, actually, no, it's not going to be billboards. That's somebody, I think it was Dre. He was like, hey, bro, like kind of where I live. He's like, hey, down that one road. No, listen, when you're talking to someone about shadows and Christ and these things, the area that I'm in, I'm not saying, I've talked to some people around here about that, and I didn't get a lot of pushback, but I kind of knew my audience. But the majority of people out here, it's like 30, 40, and it could even be 50% Catholics in the area that I'm at. And the other one is broken up. Yeah, oh yeah. And the other one is broken up into some Pentecostal, some Baptist, And there are a very few non-denominational, and I know those are growing, and I know and it could be, again, it could be 30, 40% Catholics. I don't want to say that it's a majority, but the area that I'm at, back in the day, used to be like 75% the denomination of the Catholics, but not so much anymore. But I'm not focused on where I'm living. If that's the case, I just go get me a little building, call it a church. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on making disciples everywhere. So I'm only saying this because Tammy said billboards in Texas only. No, if you have an area that you believe, like there's a few people already, we're about to put billboards in the area that they're out. Like pretty soon I'll put one in Dallas. And to be honest with you, we're looking for the electrical billboards, where you have like, like 5 to 10 seconds every 20 minutes or something where it pops up, because all you have to do electrically is send them what you want on that billboard. That's all you have to do. None of us has to even be there. So it doesn't matter. Guys, look at everybody that's on. We have people from the UK. We have people from Ireland. We have people from everywhere. So what's the billboard? TikTok is. So if TikTok is the billboard, I don't live in the UK. I don't live in Ireland, but yet people from there join. Okay, so all we have to do is to push more descaled content. Is if you have a billboard that you feel would do well, make contact with Dre, Jordan, or Kelly or Ryan. Make contact. Even CJ. I know CJ. He's more like on the programming, and like if there's something electronical other than the billboard thing right now, I usually ask CJ. CJ's answered a lot of questions regarding a lot of things. Like when I first started getting this stuff set up, I definitely was like, "Hey CJ, what do you think?" He's like, "Well, this one's good, that one's good." He was able to kind of get me in a direction, and then I was like, "Oh, so this is different than that." That's when I got on YouTube. But before then, I asked him, "Hey, what do you think about these things?" And then I got on YouTube, and I knew how to look up what I was looking for. It took me, I don't know, maybe a month or two, like for me to even like learn what I needed to learn so I could even ask the proper questions. And it was a journey, but I found the right stuff. But I'm saying if you're in an area that has a billboard and you think it will do well, get a hold of one of us and we will get together and figure out if that's a good location. And if it is, we'll figure out how to get something on that billboard. But we're about to have a couple of them up here in a short period of time. We need to do it sooner than later, but it is what it is. So you sound like Dre. I don't know, I guess. Oh, we have a huge billboard here in Indiana you can advertise on. Yeah, Tammy, are you on? Tammy, why don't you do us a favor and find out the details on that, like price and like time and all that. And yeah, so let's see. Let's see. Yeah, look it up and get with us. If there's anybody else that has one in their area, look it up and get with us, and we will get one on that bulletin board, or whatever you call those things. Not bulletin board, but what I said earlier. Advertisement board or whatever. All right, has anybody got anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
God bless. See you tomorrow.
All right.
Hey, Trot.
Yeah.
In terms of the marketing and billboard, if you need help with marketing, that's literally what I do in the daily. So.
All right. Well, then, so
we're talking about billboards, digital advertising.
What state? Yeah. What state are you in again, Christian?
Ohio.
Ohio. All right. Well, if there's a billboard next to you that you think would be useful, just point it out. Like you don't have to talk about it here. We'll talk about it on Discord.
Yep. Can do.
All right. All right, guys, we're out. We will see y'all in the morning. God bless.